One more team will be sent home. One more team will go through to Phase 2. CAG versus Bleed, the rematch. But this time, 3 maps. 1, 2, 3. Almost gave him the middle finger. I'm sorry.
Don't do that.
Don't look at that. Don't look.
Hey,
don't
whoa,
look.
whoa. I'm of age these days, okay? I just turned 26, Parker. Okay?
26?
Yeah, I know.
I remember when you were a baby.
Yeah, but if I'm 26, what does that make you, huh?
400 years old.
Oh, okay. I was going to say 21, but friend.
As you see on your screen, this is Group B. You've been following it along. We have been casting most of these matches. We did the Bleed Los game earlier today, and as you can see, Los won. Now that pushes Bleed down to face off against Cyclops. Cyclops yesterday defeated Talon 2-0.
Yep.
Pushed Talon out of Atlanta and out of the event. They have an opportunity to get their revenge on Bleed and do the same thing to another region mate. Not the same region.
Yep.
Cyclops are from Japan. Bleed are from Southeast Asia, from all over, in fact. This is the tale of the tapes for you.
Yep. And I just want to point out yesterday when there was that when CAG were playing against Talon, they were a different kind of team than from the first matchup where they played against Bleed. They were confident, they were in the enemy's face, etc., really going at it. And this is like Cyclops that is more methodical and a little bit slower to the punch as well than previous tournaments. So it's a better look in my opinion for CAG. Honestly, I think this will be a great best of 3 between these two teams.
I agree, honestly. Like, if Cyclops shows up the way they did yesterday against Talon, then this could be a completely different ball game. As you can see here on the bottom of your screen, an almost 100% chance of qualifying for SI should Bleed win this match. Yeah. Cyclops are also in the hunt. One is 86, the other is 68. The loser will not make SI, period. So not only do you get booted out of Atlanta, they literally forcefully evict you from the state. I see it. A helicopter comes down and picks them up and they get flown away. It's crazy.
It's just like
But you also don't go to Brazil. Here are the maps for you. Border, Kafe, and Consulate will be the 3 maps we play on.
So Consulate, that's the literal rematch map because that's where they scored off like yesterday in the first best of 1. And then it's surprising that Bleed they pick Border against CAG because CAG yesterday they beat Talon 7-1 very dominantly. And Bleed said, you know what, that's fine and all. We don't care about that. And then Kafe is the first Kafe of this entire tournament, so that's always exciting to see.
Like to see it get debuted. Yep. You and I have not done Chalet. We've not done Skyscraper. We've not done Clubhouse. We've done Labs. We've done Border. Well, I've done Labs. I've done Border.
Yep.
No Kafe, obviously. I haven't done Oregon. We did a bank.
Yeah.
Consulate.
Yeah, you're right, actually. We've done the same couple of maps. Also, to note that with Kafe being played here, because there's a second map, that means all maps will have been played across the entire tournament so far, already in day number 2. So, yes, first Kafe, but also it confirms all 9 maps in the map pool will have been played only 48 hours into the tournament. That's pretty good.
When does Villa play?
Oh my god, when does Theme Park play?
Oh god, when does Coastline play?
No, let's not go back to Coastline, okay?
When are we going back to Favela?
We've never... Actually, it wasn't...
That's not true. You played a pro match on Favela.
I have? Are you sure? I don't think I have.
Were you not active in...
No, I played back then, but I didn't play a map on... We never scrimmed it either. I don't think we actually played in Pro League.
Really?
I know NA did, like, Serenzy's team. Milen, no.
I think Kix's team played on Favela at one point.
I think so. NA liked it more than EU did. I know that much.
Can't say. Operator bands are rolling in. Ying taken out first by Bleed. Monty will join next. I like the Monty ban a lot.
Yeah, but we need to look at who banned it, right? CAG have been the team to ban it almost every single game so far, which is so unlike them if you look at the last couple of events. But again, sometimes Monty that you think goes well when you play it is actually an issue for you. And also, we saw Bleed in the first matchup against CAG on Consulate. It was Bleed who played the better Monty and actually won a couple of rounds on the attacking side. But with this being Border, it's not a common Monty map, I would say, so it's still a bit of surprise here, whereas the Ying, the Asami, the Valkyrie, much more common stuff for a map like Border, the Intel, the assignment to hold security, and of course, Ying has become this operator that on every single map, by pretty much every single team, is either banned, or if not banned, played in the majority of the rounds on the attacking side. So, no big surprises there. It's gonna be Bleed on defense, Cyclops on attack, and nothing really too out of the ordinary here to start things off. My eyes, personally, I'm going to be looking at Reaps, obviously a big name on his team. He's had a, honestly, average performance so far in this tournament. Haven't had that super big star kind of big kill game really so far, but there's still time, of course. And then Turtsta, It's his birthday. Again, we gotta say, he just turned 19 today, so happy birthday, Tursta. And what better present than to actually go to the second phase of the major by winning here in this best of 3.
We're just gonna say happy birthday every time he comes up, huh?
We have to. It's once a year, Parker. No, we do.
Wow, that's crazy, isn't it?
If you wouldn't you want us to wish you, and the fans wish you a happy birthday on your birthday? You would.
I suppose that could be nice.
Yes, exactly.
Early Lion right now, as very first round will start upstairs on Armory. Just a bit of joking going on between Cyclops and Bleed, with Reaps and Arcali talking to each other about reportedly selling intel. Hoven picked off early by Black Ray, who's already made his presence known at top of East. That's very
So
quick
quick.
pace and not really dealing with the Solus too much. He just punishes him and moves on.
I mean, this looks like the same CAG as yesterday, where they want to get in the building quick on border and choke out their opponent on those first initial footholds like East Stairs, Security, Break Room, etc. But then the big difference from CAG now than just like 6 months ago is that when they get this early advantage, they slow things down. They don't overextend and overexpose themselves and die shortly after. They maintain the lead and utilize it to build a bigger one throughout the entirety of the round. And that's why we see Black Ray, when he got that kill, he peeled back, hopped on cams, shot on an air jab, just waiting for his teammates to get back into that support position. That's where they are now. The half round to go, they're looking at 90, looking at Office, but Bleed, they want to swing back as well.
Just explosions going off all over. As there goes some of the wall, there goes some castle barricades. Some of the things that were designed to keep you safe are gone, one of which the floor underneath Mentalist becomes lava. Arcali shoots up the nade, and Black Ray is good enough for a second kill, repositions in his chair. Has an act of confidence, and he's got the Warden of Turnsta also located. Arcali, the first death. Zasfi under 90 gets that one. Back over into security, looking towards break room. Turnsta's in archives right now, the only person on the bomb site. Cyclops, all stacked up on top East.
Yeah.
Nowhere close to an Armory take, but Armory is as free for the taking as possible.
And again, CAG, they're playing just disciplined. They're waiting for Energy's drone to come from outside the building, in towards it, get intel, and say, guys, 3, 2, 1, Lions can push in through Office and try and get that fight together, 2v1.
Numbers are continuing to go down for Cyclops after losing a second player. Asfi is on flank, gets spotted though by Anaton. The birthday boy himself. In a 1v3. Smart glass is on. Not flashed whatsoever. No follow-up immediately from Cyclops. Another flash will go out. Turnsta's immune at this point, but Drone, they know he's in the corner. It's like a trapped animal at this point. He's gonna have to fight his way out, and they just stack up from Cyclops. Far too much for him to handle. CAG take the first round.
It is a scary thing. You see how CG they played border yesterday. You saw the 1-7-1 against Talon. You pick it today, but the downside is when you pick the map, the opponent chooses the starting side. And we all know, or should know at least, that on border you don't want to be on defense. You want to be on the attack. You have so much control because the map, well, it's relatively small on border. There are so many easy ways in throughout the building and so many long lines of set that favors those scoped-in weapons that attack us more of than defense. And that's why we see most attacking teams, they're going to care about East Stairs, they're going to care about Security and Break Room, and they just work from there. Because those 3 areas off the map, that south portion, they will give you avenues to every single bomb site. Customs, Armory, Ventilation, Telos Archives, it's all kind of working off those 3 starting positions. And we saw Talon, the reason why they lost so badly against Cyclops, they didn't really play for those important areas. So CAG showing us that they could do border yesterday, they can do border today as well, and it's really up to Bleed to counter here, either from studying the game from yesterday, or just saying, okay, what is it that Bleed can find out throughout in the middle of these rounds what the weaknesses are from CNG's attack right now. That's the thing, Valkyrie's banned out. You have very little intel on the defensive side to make those decisive decisions as to what could the weaknesses be. Are the flanks open? Well, they simply just do not know.
F-Not ready to go.
F-Not, known as the Dread Mine to many. Got obscuring device thrown out by Fenrir that will stop you from having the ability to see more than a couple feet in front of your face. Wasn't really much of, I guess you could say, an influence on the previous round, Nick.
Not at all. However, Smokes and glass. Smokes and Osa and Amaru to
Amaru,
go. Yeah.
Finka, Osa,
I like
Glass.
this.
I love Japanese Rainbow Six.
Yep. I mean, Cyclops.
How many glasses have we seen at this point? Just a couple. There was some in the G2
There was
DZ
one
game
in the
earlier,
G2 game,
remember?
yeah. There's Alamau. He didn't really get very far with it, but they tried. But it's Oregon. It's a bit more of a closed-off map, I would say, where a border, because there are all these like long lines of sight, glass that we can see through the smoke, can get a ton of value. And if you play 2 sets of smoke, like with the Osa of Anaton, you can really enable Suzuki here.
They're already using those smokes. Now Anaton is in, but he'll be nearsighted, worried about an impact or a nitro cell, shooting away to try and gain some way of fighting back. And I like how quickly Bleed fell off. He took the vertical play, excuse me. Arcali with the only kill so far for Cyclops. The teams trade out. Advantage goes in favor of Bleed as Cyclops assert themselves at the top of Metal. Now it's Black Ray with his 4th kill. Equalize. Finding one of those dread mines. Talked about the Fenrir not being particularly valuable so far. It's been paying off huge in this round.
I mean, Black Ray is so good right now. Just finding kill of a kill. But the real question is, Anaton with 2 Osa shields in pocket, 2 smoke shields to enable Suzuki. They could easily go for a plant here, but they're still rotating around the map on the security and main stair side of things. So it's awkward now. Anaton with Case on one side of the map with no backup, and last 2 members on the opposite security main stairs.
Black Ray has an idea. It's also a bulletproof camera that he could have shot out quite a while ago. Suzu sees the Warden. They weren't expecting this. It's Hoven in a 1v3. Anaton nowhere to be found still with the Case. A mystery as to where he will emerge from. Hoven knows there's one on metal detector, but you do not want to engage with that glass as the other 2 players come in through Fountain side. Hoven playing by metal. He'll lose line of sight towards Fountain, taking the engagement with the glass. This is good. Now back towards Fountain he'll go, but for a brief moment he'll be flashed. Anaton getting diffuser down. Hoven gets spotted by Black Ray. That's 6 kills and 0 deaths for Black Ray. A great start for him, a great start for CAG, and they're up 2-0.
And I like the fact that Black Ray, he was playing the Amaru, but he didn't feel like he had to utilize the gadget because he was not really flying in the window, flying up the hatches. He took security control by pushing up the long hallway from office, and then he just sat in there, found 3 picks, played around his team for the rotations, and I like that. Because I feel like some players, they'll play a particular operator, like the Blitz or like the Amaru, and feel like they need to go for a rush play, because that's typically what you want from that kind of operator. But sometimes you can just play the gun. Sure, you have your gadget, and theoretically, you should pick an operator for the gadgetry usage, but you don't always really necessarily need to do that. And I think that round in particular is where Black Ray just using the gun, having it up, waiting for his team, not feeling like he has to be the playmaker himself, was the right play for him. 6-0 now, as you mentioned. He's done a phenomenal job in the first 2 rounds, getting entries and then being very stable for his team, never overcommitting to a too aggressive of a play where he might find himself dying. And he's just, again, waiting for intel. Cyclops definitely in the driver's seat. Lee did go back-to-back on Armory, but now things will change up to go in that bathroom Teller's bomb set instead, where now it's about the verticality. You're going to extend upstairs, play in office, play Armory, play archives, etc. And they also have some intel below, a Pulse, Tursta with a C4 in pocket. And Cyclops, not saying they're not going to respect it, but there's no IQ available for them. They don't have any counter intel for the Pulse, and that could be troublesome for them later on if they don't clear downstairs first.
Tursta will hopefully gain some significant value with that Pulse that you just discussed. A Bravo on the board means that we need to talk about the gadgets that can easily be controlled by the Kludge drone. One is those proximity alarms that Reaps brings as a secondary gadget. The Wamai discs can also be taken. Bulletproof camera by Asfi, including those dread mines. Can't take the frost mats, can't take the shield, can't take the castle barricades, can't take Pulse, unfortunately.
Unfortunately, yeah.
Imagine if you could just control all of those. Yoink, mine now.
Yoink. I mean, if you ever make like an that's interesting C4 spot. It's like on the break room side in the soft wall.
Tursta was reading him, that's why.
Yeah.
You could hear the Pulse scanner, and then it was the Pulse who tossed it up. Proximity alarm giving Black Ray's position away. Needs to be very careful about how he engages over towards east. More information, and he's just looking the wrong way. Reaps with the entry kill. It's the first death for Black Ray.
And that right there was indeed an overextension, but they thought East Steps was clear. Default cam wasn't even shut. They had no real intel. Chibisu could have followed for a trade maybe, but chose not to. playing on that finger, maybe trying to play a bit more conservative with the grenades in pocket still, and 2 more finger charges to go. Don't want to die early in the round as finger in that kind of position. But it's really slowed CHGs down here in their advance. Kind of locked out of what they want to achieve, because remember, it's a downstairs bombs on bathroom tellers, and they're dying upstairs.
Arcoli now next in line. He finds the castle, a mentalist, after Reeves had died earlier. That suppressed para doing some mighty good damage, and there's another no! And he gets frog splashed by Asfi. Could have been a very easy pick for Arcoli. Instead, they have at least a read as to where this is. Hoven giving his position away as well upstairs in office, but the disappearing act through the hatch back towards the bomb site. A full reload, ready to engage what comes next. 30 seconds remain, and Cyclops having an advantage of 1. Time for Asfi to move around which of those dread mines are open. Like that CAG are still on drone. As they look to open things up and go for the drop, they have to be very wary. The fact that somebody could be playing down there. Additionally, frost mats are the big question mark for me. Suzu will drop, just narrowly evading it as down goes Hoven. Asfi could stop this in its tracks, but Anaton has coverage from the window. CAG is up 3-0 in this match.
And again, such a good understanding of what CAG they need in that position. They have 3 members on the office hatch, all seemingly looking to drop. But no, it's about using their utility, the grenades, the flashbangs, opening up the window from the hatch, and then Anaton rotating from outside balcony down towards the bomb site's window, saying, I'm going to cover the window towards the hallway, and the last guy either stay on the hatch or drop and cover the planter. And they really just have a checklist saying, okay, we need ABC, let's make sure that we have ABC before we get going. And that right there is exactly the biggest weakness of CAG in the last 2.5 years in international grounds. They didn't do that before, and they would lose these kinds of rounds that they should be winning. But now, it's a flawless 3-0 for them so far, and it's forced Bleed to take their tactical timeout already here in map number 1. And look at the scoreboard. It's not all that great individually for Bleed either. Every single member on 1 singular kill, with the exception of Asfi, who has 3. That's not a whole lot. Black Ray, as an individual, has the same amount of kills, basically, with the assist, as the entire team of Bleed so far. It's a tough start.
Well, yeah, I mean, this isn't really the result that you want, especially given that this is Bleed's map.
Yeah.
This is exactly what happened against Talon in yesterday's match with CAG, if you recall.
Yep.
For those that didn't follow along, CAG got blown out by Bleed in the very first match on the stream, 7-3 in favor of Bleed. CAG did not look like themselves. They come up against Talon, the Korean team that was competing and fighting for their lives. And on Talon's map of Bang, CAG wins 7-3. CAG then goes to Border and wins 7-1. CAG did start on defense in that matchup. And they went 5-0 through the first 5 rounds on Border defense, suggesting that while yes, Talon might not have been the most practiced team on this map, and winning only a single round on Border would suggest that, that CAG are quite comfortable on defense. The fact that they've already got 3 rounds on attack bodes very well for what happens when the side swap comes in.
Oh, it does. And I think confidence for a team like CAG, and even for Bleed as well, very important, because these are, I want to say, at least experience, because Cyclops, they have made up international grounds, but for Bleed, they are a new international team. You want to get some rounds in the board, get some, momentum, so to speak, going, get those creative juices flowing, saying, guys, go for this swing, hey, let's make a play over here, etc. Because when you're starting on defense, you don't have to problem solve the same way as you do on attack, so Bleed, this could just end up being a warm-up game for them in the best of 3. The first map gets surrendered, unfortunately, and it starts showing up on the server. But the benefit of best of 3 is you can lose the first map and still be A-okay for the last 2. But of course, try and stop CAG, slow them down, have some confidence-inspiring rounds would be the goal here to Bleed. Turks, they're going to find that drone, reinforce the wall, cut off the rotation. It's again a vertical hold because the bomb site is downstairs in ventilation workshop instead. And I do like this verticality setup because it forces CAG to deal with the top floor hold and the primary hold as well. You can play more around the map. But Bleed, they keep falling single-handedly, not having those trades going their way. They got to fix that in this round.
I mean, how do you diagnose Bleed? How do you diagnose the issues at the moment? I mean, other than Asfi having largely impactless kills, the rest of this team has not accomplished much on the score sheet. It's a rough spot to be in. I mean, The roam has not been particularly strong for Bleed. In fact, I haven't really noticed a ton of roam presence to begin with. And Cyclops have just been so proficient with their entry work. There's Blackray to get one. Immediately maneuvers over towards the B-bomb site. Flushing Asvi, the only player with more than a single kill on Bleed, out of his position.
That's just not good enough. No one's on cams. They don't have the F-net there, so from the Fenrir. They don't have the beat boops from Hoven. Like, there's so many different kind of intel pieces of utility, but they're not being used to position correctly around the map here, and therefore they're again playing 4 versus 5 from Bleed side.
More information this time as the mirror is spotted out. Concealed by smoke and a joint effort to push Mentalist out of that position will be needed. Ven's Workshop is the bomb site, but the silhouettes will not fool you. Every single player from Bleed is upstairs. Nobody is on the bomb site itself. I imagine that they have a vantage point down below and probably some form of information, but you could potentially take advantage of this. That's exactly what Suzu's doing as Reaps dies, and now it's Arcali to try and keep their attention. That's a successful defuse plan for Suzu. Turns to drops. It could just be a flawless round. Hoven's the only one left. Firing away, getting a kill onto Arcali, but how many more can you add up? That's only Hoven's second kill. Now, Suzu doing all the work himself, 4 in a row from CAG.
Damn, this is not the result that I expected so far. I mean, going back to the first the matchup here between Bleed and CAG and Consulate, I was praising Bleed for their discipline, for setting up the crossfires, always playing trades on defense, etc., and having a good read on the game strategically. And I have not seen that from them on Border. And then normally you'd go, okay, this is CAG's map pick, it's fine, you know, they're supposed to lose this one if you're Bleed, but that's not the case. Bleed picked this map against CAG, and they're down 0-4, and they haven't shown us anything where they go, wow, great attempt, close round, you know, CAG just clutched it, they got, you know, good timings or whatever. No, this is CAG storming into the building, Blackray in particular, with a drone in front of him, just finding opening kill after opening kill. And Bleed, they don't really seem to be adapting right now. The only adaptation in operators has been that Solo's not being picked pretty much every single round. And yeah, you can tell them where the drones are coming from, but that doesn't seem to be the case. The Fenrir of SV inside of Customs was looking at the floor, like, oh, there's a drone here, I'm going to shoot it. And they get shot by Blackray from behind shortly after. So I don't think Solo is doing the best work right here, no matter who's playing that operator. And I don't think they're putting their utilities in the right areas either to deny the entries from CAG, and it's why they keep finding those opening kills uncontested.
Bleed only drew first blood in round number 3. Outside of that, it's been either a trade or Cyclops all the way. It leads more credence to what you just said. The usual killers on Bleed have been very quiet. Hoven, Reeves, pretty much invisible.
It's all of them, right? It's not even just individually, but sure, let's say one player keeps dying, fair enough. But let's say that you keep dying and no one's trading you. So you just die kind of for nothing, you die alone. That's the bigger issue at hand here. Because if Mentalist goes 1-4, but somebody else gets the kill trade every single time, then you can say, okay, 1-for-1 trade is neutralized, it's equal. But there's just people falling by the wayside with no backup. And it's CAG who always have more guns facing the enemy's direction than not.
Like this coordination over towards break area, and Blackray might have just seen a player. Hard to tell from that position. Opening up the castle barricade to give a longer line of sight with the DMR that will flatten you in a matter of seconds. Blackray only surviving because of the adrenal surge. Very well timed. Chibisu dies. There's Bleed to get on the board first. Still over half the round to go. That's the last adrenal surge that they will have as its effects continue to linger. Arcali walking in. Once again, that suppressed para is so lethal. Mentalist feels its wrath that time. Now next in line is the Solus. Winning the duel is Hoven. Down goes Arcali. The advantage for Bleed, and with Blackray so low, this is the best look that Bleed has had all game. Now it's Anaton's turn to take some damage as he fights at the top of these stairs.
Basically for sure so far. And this is again, finally, Bleed actually punishing the entries, finding the opening kill, and then playing solidified in these corners. The right way to play Border. Let them come to you. You got the crossfires, you got the strong positions.
Suzu's gone, so the last two are limping. Playing on borrowed time. Blackray sees one, looking to pad his stats. Shot through the soft wall. Anaton now nearsighted, feared as he walks away. A 1v4 at this point. Virtually unwinnable. As the diffuser has one smoke. It's a pick on Asvi, vaulting on in, but Reaps is there long range in that same position over by Break Room that he spent most of the round in. And Bleed finally gets on the board.
Yup, a well-needed round for them, but they got this final defense up and coming in. What bumps do they go to? Because when you've gone through every single one, but customs where you don't really ever want to go to, and you've lost every single time, it's okay. I guess we gamble either ventilation or bathroom and hope for the best. And then I love this. Like, attacker repick is still in play, but we see a blitz and a glass being showed here from CAG. They might want to change up the pace right now. They've been playing this kind of methodical, semi-predictable style of siege that worked really well for them. It's how they got the 4 rounds, only lost a single one. But now Bleed are expecting this same kind of pace, the same kind of speed to be repeated in these rounds. And then all of a sudden you see CAG, Lion, Blitz, Glass. That's not going to be a methodical, slow push where they care about getting map control and entries. That could very well be a direct site rush execute that'll be over in 20 seconds if the bomb goes down favoring the attack, or if they can shut down that plant attempt, then Bleed in an excellent position. Now, Turkstar is playing Lesion. Those goo mines could gain them some incredible value here, depending on where they are placed on the map. Same thing with Hover on Solace. If you can see where the plant is going down, shut it down or call out at least, that could be a way into this round. But there is not a single C4 on the board for defenders. There's no smokes as either. So, besides gunplay, you don't have any options in. We also have an Ace stream, in case you guys couldn't hear it. Very exciting stuff happening. And now around here as well, Sunni will follow as well. Blackbeard with Diffuser out at the bomb site. Chibisu and Armory nearby. Not sure it's going to be a direct side rush though. The glass is gone, but Blitz is still there. They could set it up. And it's rotating over. 4 members now on the offense side. That could be the sign. Question is though, with just the Blitz on the board and no Ying or Glass to follow up, I'm curious to what the actual execute would look like here for Cyclops.
Oh my.
Okay.
Chibisu, what's going to happen? Smokes to go in, and suddenly Anaton's in the midst of the bomb site, and in the midst of the smoke, he doesn't have access to it. Suzu is getting the diffuser down. Arcally dies to Reaps. Reaps is still there. Suzu gets it down, and Anaton is next one in line. Black Ray 1 kill, but Mentalist gets both. Suddenly, nobody's watching that diffuser. Chibisu and Black Ray need to get in a position. An endless clown car of players can hop out of that window. Chibisu holding from above. Black Ray not too far removed, trying to get baited into this by the wall. Oh, a nice shot by Reaps, who now hops onto it, and that's a clean sweep. Bleed plays that one perfectly in the post plant, and they pick up their second round to close out the first half.
That is not how that round was supposed to go. Both the Hibana and the Blitz didn't seem to be able to find the window to jump back out after the bomb went down because they were stuck inside their own smoke grenade. No one's repelling upside down the window for the post plant. Chibisu and Yaro actually got in top floor, but doesn't have any eyes on diffuser, doesn't have a great post plant position, and more importantly, the last 2 attackers from Cyclops don't have any way to help one another, as one is deep inside the building above the site, and one is outside the bomb set window with no lines of sight to one another. And Bleed, they get that important final defense round. They get a 2-4 half, which is the wrong side to be on, but they buy themselves enough wiggle room now as CAG are not going to be that close to match point. They can now play on the attacking side, they can make a couple mistakes and adaptations, and still have a great shot at winning this first map. And this is an attacker side, or attacker favorite border, I would say, more often than not. So we should be expecting Bleed to find more success in general on this side swap. The big question is, what kind of style will they bring to do that kind of job? We saw CAG go for mostly methodical rounds, but they did try that last final rush. Bleed in the very first round, they will kind of do what CAG did once. They'll play the Osa and the Glass combined with the Finger Lion. One thing here is there's no actual hard breach on the attack inside, so you are limiting yourself on what kind of execute to go for. Normally, this would indicate that you're forced into an archives attack. You don't necessarily need to breach any walls. There's an armory, you do need to breach that exterior wall to get access to the bomb site itself.
If yesterday's results against Talon are any indication, then Cyclops should be relatively strong on defense. I know I referenced them earlier, but for those that are just tuning in or maybe weren't listening at the time, does that bearing 9 look abnormally large, by the way, on your screen?
It does look abnormally large,
actually. Why does it look so big?
It's half the screen.
That is humongous. All right, well, either way, Cyclops against Talon yesterday went 5-0 on their first 5 rounds. And Mentalist is going to walk right in. This is the same thing that confronted them before. First kill goes to Turdsta. Nitro Cell looked like it was going to go out. There goes a pocket EMP. And it takes out Mentalist and the shield as well. The Gambit works off for the first pick. Now somebody else has to get into the action. Anaton taking out Asfi and his own teammate, Suzushi. Reaps posted up on vents, firing away as Hoven manages to get it down. Nade goes out, kills Chibisu. Anaton to try and save the round. Can't even find a single kill. Bleed. Get 3 in a row.
And that is how you attack Archives with the Glass and the Osa. Much quicker, much more decisive as well. And honestly, it just looked like they had that figured out from the very beginning. They picked those operators without any hesitation. They are prepared for their attacking side. And I also want to say that that's preparation right there. That's how you execute that so cleanly. And Bleed looking good while doing so. And that's border for you. When you bring out operators like the Blitz, like the Glass, the Ying, the Osa, etc., you can pretty much rush every single bomb site if you want to, as long as you got the right read, information, and setup. And they had exactly just that. Now, when you do that in your first attacking round, you are setting the pace and the tone for the entire half to come. And CIG, they have to be aware and a little bit afraid, actually, of a potential side rush on every single bomb site going forward now. So if you're Bleed, the best thing you can probably do is don't go for a rush immediately after, because that's pretty much predictable. Now, the exception would be if you have drone on the bomb site, you know it's clear. You can, of course, still go for a rush. But keeping the opponent guessing as to if it's going to be a fast or a slow round is always going to be beneficial. And the reason for that is, if the defenders expect a side rush, they're not going to be roaming very far off the map, far away from the bomb site. That means that if you don't go for the rush, you can get free map control. Whereas the enemies think that you would never ever dare to rush, they would spread themselves thin and stop the injured players from getting inside the building. Bleed, they got the Blitz. They got the Glass, they got the Armor and the Lion. If they want to go fast, they very well could, and they're setting up for right now, because here they go.
Yeah, and it could be another quick one. As out goes the smokes. Bleed is a good idea, but Turdsta's Gambit fails. Aspie's does as well. Mentalist next in line to take some damage as he's tucked away. Vaults on over, and 30 seconds in, it's just Hoven and Reaps left. I understand what you're trying to do, and I do like it from a spectator standpoint, but did not seem to be as well practiced as it could be. Now a standstill for presumably the final 2 minutes. Arcally took a lot of damage, but other than that, Cyclops are in fine form, still holding control of the bomb site, and most importantly, the diffuser is in the thick of it.
Yeah, that's, I mean, this is like the 50-50 of a rush. Either you win really quickly, or you pretty much lose immediately. And it coulda, woulda, shoulda worked, but it didn't. And I do want to say, Mentalist jumped in with Blitz, went for the ADS, got nearsighted by Fenrir, and then flashed nothing, vaulted to rotate, and died. But Hoven does get a kill upstairs. It was a long way to go. Half ounce of timer, as you mentioned, Parker, diffuser on the bomb site. You gotta retake that, find a comfortable position, and then make a play off of that. It's a long way forward, Bleed here.
Reaps could drop as there's some drone work being done by Hoven. I mean, you've got so much time at this point.
Going out.
There's an EU1D as well, paralyzing the defense. Can't tell if he's spotting just where he wants to drop or a potential line of sight. They think there might be somebody over in the corner that's being concealed by a mute jammer. There's Jaeger on the board.
And a Warden as well, so this smoke could work against him.
Drops into the Dread Mine, but off goes the smoke. Finding it, stopping the nearsightedness. Reaps pulling out the sidearm before juggling on over and losing the duel to Anaton, because guess what? The Warden can use that smoke as well. An odd engagement as it looked like. Arcally was going to go for that, but it's Anaton to get the very final pick. CAG strike back after letting the round go to Bleed previously. In fact, all 3 previously. And that's the first successful defense for CAG.
And that's exactly what I mean when I say that I don't like when teams, they rush too often or too many times in a row, because it becomes more predictable. And a rush typically works when you're catching opponents by surprise, or you're doing a rush that is not very popular or common to see. Because again, surprise factor, that chaos effect. We saw CAG having 3 members near the site when Mentalist jumped in with the Blitz, and that's simply too many enemies to deal with for the Blitz himself. He can only be shield faced into one direction. The Warden was on site, we can see through the smokes, and then a C4 prompt ready as well. So there's no realistic way in unless the enemy makes a ton of mistakes, and you don't ever want to rely on the enemy being bad. You should rely on you playing the round clean, playing it well, playing it good. And I don't think Bleed really did that in the previous round because they didn't seem to have enough intel as to just how many people were on the site versus on the roam. And now, with the round not working out, we can probably expect some more normal, methodical, slower paced gameplay from Bleed because it's time to change things up. You tried the fast stuff, it worked once, it failed once, you're looking at this 3-5 scoreline. The next time Bleed they lose, they're staring down that match point for CHG. One of the worst spots to put yourself in. So, if you're Bleed, try and get the next round or two, tie things up, and overtime doesn't look all that impossible, all that unlikely. They go on Twitch, the Gridlock, Fink is stable as well. Of course, you want to be able to boost up your teammates and yourself in these gunfights. I think it has those frag grenades now as well, so tons of utility.
I will say, I very much appreciate how aggressive Bleed is on these entries. Being able to get in the building? Oh my, but surviving is half of the battle, and Oven doesn't accomplish that. One Adrenal Surge had gone out, Arcali shuts him down on the bottom at East Stairs by Lobby. Now Black Ray's position next. Serious damage with that Uzi. Unable to complete the kill onto Reaps. Down goes turns to the Anaton, and now Reaps manages to evade one of those Razor Blooms. He's upstairs on that catwalk. Back towards East he goes. Deployable shield, hard and soft walls, all of which Ace he can actually handle quite easily. Now it's Aspie priming a grenade to bounce on in. Unsuccessful in taking any of the players down. A nice swing from Reaps onto Black Ray. Numbers will equalize. Reaps is damaged though, and well, Mentalist gets down, things can go from bad to worse, but Reaps is somehow making this happen. He's losing HP slowly but surely, but he really is the Grim Reaper on this round when it comes to these picks. Nade tossed in, Anaton evading it. This has been constant action for about a minute at this point. Anaton pulls trigger a little bit too early. Aspie's able to walk by and survive. So now some of the wall inside of Archives will go. Anaton can swing onto that. Reaps close by. He gets the kill, but suddenly it's a 1v1. And Suzu versus Aspie in an engagement. Looks like there's a Maestro cam up watching him. Does Aspie know this? Out he goes to retrieve the diffuser. Suzu's in a position where he has to get around those track stingers. This is one of the impacts to do it. Aspie with the shotgun out, being spam pinged. He knows the Maestro's there. They're working both ways. And now Aspie swings, but Suzu wins it. CHG moves to map point.
Oh, both had the intel. They both knew the whereabouts, but they both also couldn't really move from their locations. One stuck in the corner, the other one stuck knowing that he cannot plant anywhere on the bomb site. So the track stingers, yeah, they're on the ground. They're stopping Suzu from moving anywhere, but he doesn't have to. He's not the playmaker in that scenario. When you're playing defense in a 1 versus 1, it's the attacker's task to get down that diffuser. It takes 7 seconds. When you're back-to-backs right on the bomb site next to each other, you cannot just sit down for 7 seconds. The defender will not allow that to ever go down. And to make things even worse, Suzu did have an impact in pocket as well. If you wanted to pop those traps on the ground, destroy the floor, create a confusion or a distraction somewhere as well, do some damage towards his opponent. Now CHG there on match point. They're going to go downstairs, play that vertical bomb site, and they're going to do this with a ton of different utility. The Maestro camps, the mirror windows, the Razor Blooms and Storm, the castle barricades, and of course, Arcoli on the solo so you can see where the planet's going to be going down if that's going to be the play from Bleed. So far, it does appear that Bleed, they want to play around the objective very heavily. They want to try and get to that bomb site, try and get down the diffuser as comfortably as possible. And CHG so far have done a great job at not allowing that to really happen. They spread themselves out across the bomb site, fighting security, fighting these stairs, going for flanks, and just saying, you know what? We don't want the bomb set to be a 5 versus 5 fight because we know that you guys on Bleed will win that. We'll just try and take, you know, a 1-for-1 trade, make it 4v4, make it 3v3 because we know that we're stronger in those numbers. That's ugly.
Reaps has time to use her Adrenal Surge, and well, you got to go for it. But why do you re-engage? No Adrenal Surge to get you back up. Finka will need to be retrieved. Black Ray will go fishing for even more with this map on the line. But Aspie stands sentinel, staring down that window, and could have very easily punished Black Ray. Will now open things up. He has no idea as to the whereabouts Adrenal Surge goes off, and Reaps is back up. There's a sound cue that goes with that, so CAG will have heard that. He knows that the thing gets back up, but guess what? They want more of it, and finally they get the pick, but not before Asphy's been reduced to virtually no HP as well.
Yeah, and the thing is, I really respect Blackbird for playing that disciplined and safe, like not going for the greedy, the kill secure, but then he kind of sticks out for a little bit too long. Sure, Asphy on HP, Reaps on HP, but the finger boosts are coming out, healing his teammates, but that is the last one though. Reaps and Asphy, less than half HP for the remainder of this round, but they got that one-man advantage still. I would say a word for Bleed here in this scenario.
Blackray killed so much time.
He did. Killed some drones as well. But you always
forced
feel
out
like
2 Adrenal
more.
Surges.
Yeah, value-wise, but it's like, I feel like they could have been done more, you know? If you get all that stuff done and fall back, you stay alive, you give even more value. It's not all over though. CAG still have map control, they got to buff the bomb side on the bomb side, and they still Bleed has to pick this apart.
I mean, that's not how you win millions if you're only gambling $1 here and there.
Yeah,
You gotta
fair.
keep going in.
That's fair. I just think, I mean, okay, to be fair, you're up 6-3. You can take some risks here. You can go for those risky plays.
It's a downstairs bomb site, by the way. So Bleed has their work cut out for them. Flush out the top floor and then move towards that Vent's workshop site. Now it's Suzu taking some damage. Backed up by Arculi as they know one player's over towards Passport, and it's a ring around the Rosie. Advantage for Bleed will continue to go as Arculi circles around, picking off Turdsta, but the rest of Cyclops getting punished by the gridlock. It's Asphy and Reaps to get every single kill if I saw in that round, which is amazing because those were the two that Blackray was trying to nullify earlier on. Bleed's 4th round means that they stay in this, but it's still CAG's map at the moment.
It was such a good play from both teams as well. CAG, they went for that 2 vs 1 instead of customs, and they got the kill in the collapse. But while that happened, Bleed, they recognized, hey, nobody's really covering the hatch drops on site. Let's just drop down and get those kills and go for a really off-pace play. So while 2 members, they leave the site to get the single kill in customs, well, Bleed, they take side control. And then defenders, they play retake, and that's never where you want to be. A good read from Bleed, but they're still in this awkward position. 2 more rounds in a row needed to go to overtime. Going through their decisions on the attack inside of what operators should they be bringing. Mentalist did hover the blitz for a short moment and thought, you know what, guys? Let's not gamble this again, because it's exactly where it wrong previously. That Taylor's bathroom bomb site. Yes, you have a quick access point in towards the side window, but you also have this whole map, this beautiful map you can work with. Go upstairs, roam clear, find some of those picks, build an advantage for yourself, and then pick apart the bomb site later on. One big thing here, Valkyrie being banned, defenders don't have a lot of intel to be had that is movable. Valkyrie cameras, while they cannot move them around, you get 3 of them. They cover so much area. But Anaton on the Echo can change this, because those yokais, they can hover around. Relocate them, gain into top floor, first floor, Pantana, etc. And this also just speaks to the read here from CAG. They're expecting a roam clear. They are not, but at the same time, actually, they have 1 Yoka for the roam clear, 1 for the side rush. They're preparing for both cases. They'll see, okay, it's not going to be a side rush. You can then move those Yokais around, gain maximum value. But if Turdsta can find them with the Brava drone, that of course could change very quickly. They get stopped by a mute jammer. Nakuli won't even see where the drone is because, well, it can't be checked right now because it's jammed.
Just right now, just balancing on the razor's edge for Cyclops. Cyclops still have their timeout available. Yep. Settle things down if they so choose. I will say, this is a very different matchup than what we saw in the Bleed versus CAG game all the way back at the start of yesterday, Nick. And that both of these teams are taking their opponents very seriously. CAG are far more restrained, playing more of that style that helped them topple Talon last night. I like to see the coordination, and frankly, I like to see the growth in this team.
Yeah, I think growth is the right term because it's definitely signs of improvement and again, just adaptation on the fly here, something that we don't see very often from CAG. And again, the Yokai is getting good value, spotting out Reaps, stunning him as well. But Hoven on the flank inside the Kurti finds it to Anaton. That's now Echo off the board. Those Yokais can still get intel, but they can't shoot any longer.
Most of the action in this game has been coming early. It's left very little scrambles at the last minute other than when we saw CAG on their attacks. Bleed starting things off by killing Anaton is obviously not ideal. Those Yokais might still be there, but you've taken somebody very critical to your success out of the action. Now Reaps is looking for more, not too far removed from the bomb site. He's at the back of workshop. One player from Cyclops sitting in the bathroom.
Oh, nade.
And nicely tossed nade by Reaps, who's just been getting better the longer this match has gone on. First kill for Cyclops in the round is Arcolia on the Hoven. Chibisu from above, punishing Mentalist. That's Diffuser down. Now it's Aspie to join in the afterlife. 2 kills for Cyclops to send this one away. This is Bleed's map. Arcolia reducing the numbers even more. Reaps has been stellar so far with 3 kills, but he's gonna have to do all of it in this round. Picks up the Diffuser for good measure. Silhouettes from Cyclops above, 20 seconds left. Reaps will find a safe position by the bathroom door, and they will taunt him as they go for the drop. Chibisu is there to give coverage with Black Ray playing the tight angle, and there goes Reaps, and there goes Bleed on Bleed's map. Cyclops, 7-4 will take map 1 in this best of 3.
I want to tease that was for Bleed. I mean, they got that early advantage. They were looking good in this final round, but all of a sudden, out of nowhere, CAG said, you know what? Enough is enough. Let's run in towards our opponent and just get those kills.
This was a big bounce back for the team that looked a bit embarrassed yesterday against Bleed. Is it the buff of the wiener dog? Right there on the table. Well, no, because the dog was there yesterday.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, pet that dog. Unfortunate result for Bleed in round number 1 of this best of 3. Unfortunate result in round number 11 for Bleed.
Yep, and I mean,
just had some issues, and they'll have to course correct for Kafe.
It's too slow to the punch, right? I mean, it took them, what, 5 rounds before Bleed got on the table, and it's way too long in these series because it's the first to 7. So down 0-5 or down 0-4, you just gotta get on the board a little bit quicker. That's map number 1 in best of 3 series, so they can take this practice map, if you will, and do better on Kafe.
Yep. And now our first look at Kafe is what's next. Hold on a second here.
You're hiding?
Ooh. There we go. I was just trying to play with that. Kafe is up next. We'll dig into what happened on map number 1 and set the scene for Kafe in just a couple moments, but we have a break ready. Sit tight.
Hey, I'm Dominique Clément, game designer on Rainbow Six Siege. If you want to get ready to confront the next addition to the Siege roster, here are a few advice. Maverick's Flaming Gadget might be that one tool you can always rely on when it's time to melt through the enemy's defense. Training your sharpshooter skills, and more specifically, with gadgets like Zophia's Lifeline, will come in very handy when it comes to countering the effect of her fresh new face. Finally, it wouldn't be Siege if explosions didn't have an impact on your game. And this season is the perfect moment to review your frag throwing skills, because a well-placed bang might just be what you need to clear you and your team a path to victory. That's all for now, but make sure you tune in to the full reveal to get all the information on what's coming next season. See you there.
Down 1-0 on Elimination Series.
From the land of the rising sun, Crest, Japan is here to play. Ninjas in pajamas lose their own map pick against a much smaller region. And this is something actually that has routinely been happening to NIP across the last year and a half. They come here, they play against MENA teams, they lose. They play against Japanese teams, they lose. And now there is actually a moment in time that we could be here to witness where Ninjas in Pajamas goes home in the play-ins of this major.
And you might be thinking to yourself, why are we getting so excited? The series isn't over. We still got another map, maybe 2. NIP could very well win this, and that's right. NIP could very well still win this. They could come back. They had a good game against DK on Bank. There are a lot of possibilities, but Sam, this is anybody's game, and we'll be with it right after this.
It's time to make history.
Well, map number 1 didn't go.
According to plan, for
What were you
Bleed.
doing?
Just
Apologize for
big
him.
ears.
Apologize for him.
This was a long day yesterday, and I woke up tired this morning. Then I had caffeine, and I'm like, whoa! All over the place.
Map number 1 did not go the way for Bleed, whose map we just played on, unfortunately for them. Unfortunately for us, it was an exciting game.
Yep.
Cyclops came out ahead. As you can see, those are the stats on your screen. And we are ready to go to the one map that has not been played so far here at all in Atlanta.
Yep.
Which is Kafe.
A lot on the line. Also, this means if we see all 4 bomb sites being played on Kafe, that will be all bomb sites, all maps played in the first 2 days of the major. That's like a world record right there in Siege, I think. One of the quickest, like, all dones. Gotta be.
Tell me this doesn't sound like Moonlight Sonata a little bit. It sounds a lot like it.
It sounds very soothing, so I'll tell you that much.
Right here. I think they turned the music up, by the way.
They did do that. I heard it. I heard it.
It sounds like Moonlight Sonata. It's not close enough. Anyway, let's talk about the actual players themselves. The standout performer for Bleed, no surprise, is Reaps, who is so darn good. Tried his best to keep his team in it. Ultimately came up short. As for Cyclops, yeah, they had some lower performers. Suzu didn't really show up the way that you would expect, but exactly.
Yeah, I know Arculi was the highest rated, if you will, but I think like Blackberry was the real MVP of map number 1. The entries and getting in, also on defense, stopping Bleed from getting into the building. So much time and utility wasted from his side single-handedly.
Nope, I completely agree. So we went to Border. Where do we go next? Kafe is next on the docket, with Consulate being the tiebreaker. Now, so far, CAG has not needed a tiebreaker because yesterday against Talon, they stole Talon's map and then they won on their own. Are they going to do the same here on Kafe? Well, it's favorable ground for them. They picked this map for the first time in this entire tournament. We are going to go to Kafe. 58% of you think that Cyclops are going to win. If I remember correctly, before we got into map number 1, more of you thought it would be Bleed. Oh, how wrong you are.
Yeah, they flipped on that one. I mean, I will say, if this was CAG from a bit ago, I'd say, oh, Kafe for CAG. It doesn't seem like a good stylistic choice for them, but with how disciplined they've been both today as well as yesterday, I think they could make this work. Orbital bans are coming out right now. Bleed, they removed Brava from action. Did see a little bit of play in map number 1 of Border. CAG, they've been banning Monty almost every single matchup so far, and they also did that on Border here against Bleed, and they will do it again. The good old CAG Monty is no more because they are banning it as much as they can. So Brava into the Monty. Then we gotta look at the Mira, the Valkyrie, the Asami here in Kafe are very strong operators. Yeah, there it is, Asami for holding piano on the top floor bomb site. So it's reading and mining. So hard to deal with those keeper barriers. We don't see floors being played very often on Kafe. That is one of the biggest counters to Asami in the current given meta. And then there's the Valkyrie. It gives you more flexibility in the operator lineup. Don't gotta bring out the IQ every single round. We also saw Valkyrie banned in map number 1 as well. So not too many things will change for this one. And once again, it's Bleed is gonna be on defense and CAG on the attack. Big question, of course, is gonna be bomb site rotation. You have so many options here in Kafe. All 4 sites are playable, especially when Mira is up and available. A lot of teams are not going to go to that mining and dining bomb site unless Mira's open. And well, here it is. So we could see all 4. And that would make our analyst, Fresh, aka Jackie Boy, very happy because he wants to see everything played as quickly as possible. He's got this bingo card on Twitter. If you've been there, there are certain requirements to fill in those blanks. And I think all bomb sites almost played is one of them, if I remember correctly. But either way.
He has some kind of... He's playing some bingo...
Bingo bango.
Bingo bango bongo?
I like following along in it. We had a Corey, which was a team kill. We had an APAC upset, I believe, as well. We've had a comeback and a best of 1. I don't know if there was a best of 3 or 1 scenario. We had an Ace and Des overtime, but not in a best of 3. There's been some good ones, I gotta say. We'll start top floor though, and work our way down if you're a Bleed. They start with that sort of utility lineup that you come to expect in Kafe, the Mirror and the Castle, 2 staples. And then a big question mark for teams on defense, are they gonna bring any like nade deny like the Wamaya the Jaeger, or are they gonna bring all of it? Well, if you fear the grenade, you want the Wamaya the Jaeger, but if you want to play more, let's say, movable siege, where you're going to be moving from corner to corner, moving from position to position, you might not need protection from the grenades because your movement will save you instead. But CAG, we know they can play the grenades, we know they like to play the Ying, they like to play utility, so I do think it is a wise choice to believe to say, you know what, let's just make sure in case they bring that kind of stuff, we can deal with it. They bring the Ying on attack, they bring the O's in the line as well. That's the big 3 operators that we can come to expect to be the the main strategy around here for the first round?
I am, for one, very excited to see how Kafe unfolds. Nicholas.
As well. Of course, the first few rounds are going to kind of set the tone. It was Bleed when they were attacking who rushed on border. CAG, they did try it later on, but they stopped with, again, the methodical, the disciplines. They're holding angles, again, waiting for Bleed to make the first move, but this is Kafe. As a defending player, you don't necessarily need to be willing to make the first move at all, because you've got a strong bomb site, long lines of sight. You got, again, the castle, the mirror. You should be playing around those areas where that utility is put down, and not just jump out windows left and right if you got those operators being played.
Chibisu immediately going on the drone, and will discover that there are mutes and castles that are stopping you from taking control of piano the way that you want. Does, however, happen to see the mute of Reaps playing inside of Humidor, or at least near Humidor, is now scooted off over towards the Black Mirror. That's positioned by Cocktail.
Drone out.
Black Ray will look for the drop. Chibisu gets there first. Grenade in hand, there goes one mute jammer. Chibisu needs to pick his poison. Do you decide to go towards the Black Mirror all the way at the end of Cocktail, or do you look for the double door where you see that castle barricade? Which one? Which one is it?
When you first drop down, it's like you're never really safe from this point forward if you're on the attack inside, because Piano's an issue for you, Cigar, you're not on cover, and then it's the bomb site. And some Candelas little smokes could enable the plant in. Yeah, he just walks on in with the Osa shield.
Suzu's going to get that shield down and immediately go for the plant. As Aspie opens things up. Down goes Arcully. Chibisu gone as well. Black Ray gone. Suzu gets Diffuser down. It's he and Anaton. 2v4, playing behind this shield. They can easily swamp him at some point. And there you go, exposing himself through the shield. Now you're going to have to go for a duel onto the skylight. Exactly where Anaton is, who decides to drop. Oh. You don't have a position up there to be able to watch that diffuser, so you're doomed at that point. First round goes to Bleed.
Yeah, this is the thing. That could actually work out by sacrificing 3 members, but bomb goes down if the postman is better. If they could see the diffuser plant from the skylight, there's a chance that the member of the skylight, the Ying in that scenario, can actually win like a 1v2 or 1v3 or maybe a 1 versus 4. But they plant what's called default plant spot. When you walk into that new balcony drop, you just walk straight into the right, hold F and plant. And you cannot see that diffuser from anywhere except for inside the building, Piano and Cigar. So the skylight player, who's the cover, he becomes practically useless. Gotta drop down the skylight, give away his position, and basically, you know, fall mid-air with 3 or 4 defenders looking in his exact direction. You're not gonna win out in those scenarios. So while it was a nice off-pace, quick play from CAG with a decent read in the situation, they simply lost 20 bodies trying to get the diffuser down and didn't have a correct or strong enough post-man position to do anything about that afterwards. That's also arguably the strongest or second strongest bomb site for defense. It's usually the reading library being number 1, and then top floor being number 2. And then it's a toss-up. You can go downstairs to kitchen and kitchen, that's what Bleed is doing right now, or goes that mining and dining bomb site. Kitchen and kitchen is a very awkward one to play out, I would say, because you can't really roam on this bomb site. And most attacking teams will simply go top floor, clean that out, go first floor, clean that out, break the floor apart, which the Buck and the Ram here from CAG very much kind of show us that that's what they're gonna do, and just go for a bomb site plan down the dining hatch. It's that simple. And there's not a whole lot of things you can do on defense strategically to stop the attackers from getting there. Yeah, maybe a good C4 or maybe a good timed flank up a staircase, but if they get down to bomb site 5 versus 5, attackers almost always win. And what a beautiful nade from Arcully, just taking Aspie off the round very quickly on.
They needed that opening pick in order to get some good footing here early in the round. Only 2 more bomb sites haven't been played, by the way.
Well, yeah, we're closing in.
Bleed obviously can't go back to Cocktail, so where are they going to go next? Kitchen is usually that tertiary bomb site, but I assume it'll be reading. Chibisu is gone as there goes a Razor Bloom by delivery. Reaps on the board. It's a 2nd kill so far. First in this round. Now we'll gain even more information playing over by mining. Flank drone set up. Reaps handles it and can very easily just continue to play up in this position. More drones going and gaining information.
Almost shut the yokai there. The thing is, when you see the run of the Buck, you really think, Roam's here, right? You go, oh, that's ugly.
If Reaps is going to be playing like this, CAG is going to need some more answers because he is just so good at the moment.
But yeah, as I said, like the Ram and the Buck, I'm expecting a top floor roam clear here, and they're just going in from first floor. You know, they're dying to some pretty ugly peaks here from Reaps, just with the aggression and confidence. And now they get the vertical control, but they've lost the Twitch, they've lost the Ram. There could still be a person hiding top floor. There isn't, but they don't technically know that from CG because they never droned it. They never took that into control. And Reaps actually is still roaming the primary floor, so if he wants to go for a flank, Consulate can always find those flank drones. He could get another kill in this round. He tells his team, just sit back, guys. Play for me. I can go for a flank. If the extra comes around from the hatch drop, I can always flank them and stop them from getting down that diffuser. But somehow, someway, Black Ray is so sharp in this matchup and finds that kill and shuts it down.
Oh, this is not the start that I'm sure Cyclops wanted, but Cyclops picks the map, Bleed picks the side. If they want to go to defense on Kafe first and rack it up, I'm sure CAG expected that. We also exist in a situation where they could win each other's maps, and then we would go to Consulate as the tiebreaker between the two. Oh my, Black Ray coming very close to seeing somebody, but he's running out of time. Is now down towards red. Susie with no information, and Yokai still there to scout away at his mentalist. Vulnerable behind Whiskey, but just looks like time is going to run out for Cyclops. Black Ray goes back upstairs. Suzu's actually almost in the bomb site. Excellent patience from Bleed. Suzu's going to keep this going, but the Yokai ends things. Bleed up 2-0.
And this is the thing about Kafe that really makes it play out very different than Border. Border is a pretty small map, long lines of sight, and you can do a lot with very little. You can be a 2 versus 4, still be A-okay. Kafe, however, it's a big kill box. There are so many areas that you have really no chance of dealing with on the attack inside, unless you either have a lot of manpower, a good amount of utility. For example, in that kitchen-to-kitchen attack, you cannot just take bakery if they're defending it. You cannot just take backside VIP if they're defending it. You can't just take the bomb site if they're defending it. Because you're usually funneling through a single or maybe 2 doors, or you're jumping in a window, dropping down a hatch, not really favorable positions to be as an attacker. Whereas on Border, big open rooms, long lines of sight, and a lot of possibilities of verticality for flanks and rotations, etc. So the second you, for example, drop down a hatch on top floor in Kafe, you're never going to have breathing room. The second you're into the building on a kitchen-to-kitchen attack, again, you're never going to have breathing room. And there are 3 staircases from the basement all the way up, from the first floor rather, and all the way up. So a lot of flanks to be worrying about. And I see our third bombs in here, mining and dining in action. I was saying how most teams will only really go here if the mirror is off and available, and it is, and it's why I believe the Bleed wants to go here. The mirror is on the bomb site, we want for above. Has the barricades go out to protect some of those long lines of sights that we mentioned earlier. And then you can hold the top floor and the first floor and really make CAG work for the map control. Again, the second they drop the top floor hatch, there's nowhere on the map that they're going to feel comfortable at. And getting kills, again, very difficult. Yeah, maybe with some good nade play you can find a kill or 2. Then you also gotta check, are there any ADSs, what might this, etc. Because you simply do not know till you have that intel available to you. Until being a castle main, setting up 30 seconds into action phase. Someone's gotta do it.
What's the danger point for Cyclops in this particular matchup? When do you start to worry?
I mean, this is the issue I have with Kafe. The second you drop these hatches on top floor, that's when you gotta worry. Because you never have any real safety. C4s below, a flank up a staircase, etc. And it's why I think the drone setup is oh so important. And it's why we see Bleed play Solace every single round, trying to find those flank drones, etc. to make them uncomfortable. And you see it right now, CG half down is burnt almost. No one's inside the building. They're still joining Cigar, they're still joining Cocktail, etc. And just figuring out, okay, where are the mirror windows? Where are the jammers? Where are the players? The second they drop onto red stairs right here, they're always going to worry about engagements, flanks, etc. So now, it's just go, go, go. It's going to be a stressful round here for CAG.
They made it into the building. Next step. Mirror window on that same wall over by Cocktail that was discussed earlier on. This is a mining, dining defense. A nice swing from Reaps. The Nitro Cell goes up, but nobody is there to catch it. Once again, Bleed opening the scoring in this round. CAG will have to go back to drones. They've got quite a few of them. 6 drones available. Reaps now being watched by Pillar. Potential re-engagement to be found. Protection with that castle barricade right next to reading door. All the while, the rest of Cyclops are going to have to walk Aniton towards the bomb site. Aniton's the one holding that diffuser. Whether they'll be able to get in there or not is anybody's guess. Havoc being wreaked onto the floor. That means that the ceiling above Bleed destroyed away. And now it's a nade from Black Ray. Oh, and they'll find it. Could have easily shot away at the foot of Reaps. I don't know why he didn't, but Black Ray goes for the kill confirm instead. Adrenal Surge goes off, just under 20 seconds. Turnstile on the board. Black Ray falls to Aspie. Cyclops being swallowed alive. Suzu's the last one standing over by the red stairs window. Time continuing to go down. 1 kill for Suzu, maybe a second. No, not to be found. Mentalist collects the last kill. Bleed is up 3-0 on CAG's map.
I love the fact that Bleed, they're in that 4 versus 1. So you know what, guys, just run at him. Choke him out. Don't give him any of these, like, comfortable seconds in the last half of this round. And that's going to be CAG's timeout. This is a classic scenario of starting on the attacking side of Kafe, which is why it's dangerous to pick this map. You pick it, your opponent gets the starting side choice. So you have to be comfortable on, yeah, your defense when you get there, but more importantly, that you can rank up those 2 or 3 attacking rounds. That's what we're looking for here for CAG. A 2-4 half, that's like the quote-unquote expected outcome. A 3-3 half, and you're looking mighty fine. That means CAG, after a tactical timeout, they gotta win the next 2 of 3 rounds to find themselves in that position. And if you let Bleed build up all these rounds and start feeling good, because looking at how Reaps is playing these rounds, he is feeling so confident. He is swinging long left side with the SMG-11, not really caring who's at the other end of that duel. And he's winning them almost every single time as well. So individually, on map number 1 of Border, it was CAG, it was Black Ray, just walking in, picking up kills. Right now, it's CAG unable to get inside the building because whenever they do, Reaps is there to greet them. Yeah, sitting on 4 kills and 2 deaths so far in the first 3 rounds, but it really has been a team effort all the way across. No one's sitting on 0 kills from Bleed, nobody's sitting on 1 kill either, so everybody is fired up right now. CAG, they are struggling. The highest fragger is Blacker with 3 kills, and it's 1 kill from Marcoli, 1 kill from Susu, and 1 kill from Aniton. And Chibisu is still yet to get on the board at all. I like how CAG started with that very like heavy utility attack, the Ying, down the skylight, go for that plant with the Osa, because they did get the plant down. That's the only success that we've seen so far from Cyclops. Yeah, they got a plant down, and they lost the round. That's it so far. So now we gotta set a rotation, especially once the coach behind them has said his piece and said, you know what, this is what we should be doing. These are the problems. And immediately we see utility, we see Flores, we see Capital, but also still the Amaru that found them success on Border could do the same thing here in Kafe perhaps, if they can use it correctly and find those openings.
Always a troubling sign to see a timeout called so early on. And competitive standpoint, I would like to see CAG get back in this matchup as they have been absent so far through those 3 rounds, Nick.
They have.
Start up on the roof and bring a completely different set of tools on the right-hand side of your screen. You can see the lineup as the rest of the round unfolds. Steady as she goes for Bleed's lineup, as they're going to bring a bevy of operators that we're used to seeing. Down goes Suzu. The Capital will not be able to unleash fire nor smoke, but it's a trade back from Black Ray.
Get the trade at least. It's not all over, but you lose one of your most important operators off this round because you don't pick Capital with the gun. The Para, not a bad weapon by any means. Bravo also have it. But you want the fire. You want the smoke to enable your teams to get into this bomb site. Now that's gone. Black Ray, yeah, he got a kill. He's going to need more, though, in this round. But more importantly, the teammates around him, Arcoli, Aniton, Chibisu, got to get on the board here and find some kills of their own. They got some Lion Scans to work with and Finger Boost as well to help them get there.
I mean, having the Goyo on the board does at least ensure that there will be some fire, maybe just not the way you're thinking of. Reaps was in trouble in the Humidor. What little remains of him is now punished. Cyclops have a rare lead so far here on Kafe. I don't know how much they're going to be able to accomplish over the next minute and a half, but they are in a great spot to do just that. Still plenty of tools at their disposal. All three adrenal surges, I should specify.
Yeah. That really is it. And Alliance scan, there it is. The man count lead is gone now. It's just finds the head of Akuli instead. A 3v3 Haley favors defense because, again, there are so few ways into the bomb site. And each and every single one of them is covered by an F-net from Finmir. So lead, they'll always know if Cyclops may approach the site itself.
Turnsta's still back in Cocktail, playing off that panel. Not too far removed from Hoven. As there's a flash to toss. Mentalist yet to die so far through these 3 rounds, but I spoke that into existence, didn't I? Advantage goes back in favor of Cyclops with just about 30 seconds left. Final remaining players from Bleed in a very similar spot as to where they were before over by Cocktail. Ooh, Turnsta sees one of them and will need to peek onto this as Chibisu aggresses. Anaton is down for the count. Oh. That super shorty of Hoven hits like a truck. And there's one left as Hoven gets all 3 of them. Bleed destroying CAG as they're up 4-0.
Hoven with the on-the-floor double kill, the shotgun back-to-back secondary. You wouldn't think that could pack a punch, but with the changes about 5 months ago or so, these shotguns are lethal. Bleed, I mean, they're up 4-0 right now, and you always got to go back and say, are the map picks wrong? Did the teams mess up? Because this is completely backwards. Bleed pick border, they get destroyed. CAG they pick Kafe, they are currently getting destroyed. And Bleed are just running away with this second map right now, and it's a quick one. These rounds are not getting played out fully in time. Usually they're decided in the first minute and 20 seconds or so. In CAG, you can tell there's a bit of desperation here. They've gone through so many different operators, the fast, the slow, utility, the entry, and nothing is working whatsoever. Only Black Ray, the only actual member getting anything done right now. Chibisu got a quote-unquote kill last round, but there's somebody else who got the injure, so he just confirmed the kill. So therefore, he's still 0-4. Kitchen in kitchen last time. Postling around from CAG, didn't go for the full roam clear, kind of just walked around, 2 members died to reach in the roam clear, and then it did vertical play. But again, the round is basically over. When you want to attack the Fae, you're looking for those 5 versus 5s, clean entries. Not losing members early is the number one thing to worry about on Kafe, and so far, CAG, they cannot get to the building with all 5 members alive. Bleed are doing a great job again, stopping them in their tracks, whatever they want to do. It's gonna be a slow one for CAG though. They just cautiously approach the building. Oh, look at that! You see the sledgehammer, the neck cook, the red ping comes out.
What?
Oh, he doesn't get it?
How does he miss that?
Well, he's so scared. Look at this man. He knows the door is open. Turnsta's coming for him.
Scout with the yokai first. Uh-oh. There goes the yokai. Turnsta could have followed up on this, but doesn't, which maybe wasn't an ideal situation to find yourself in. Now Arcully will have to expend an aid to do this. Bleed's hopes of winning a 5th round right now are going so well as Reap starts this round off with a 2-piece onto Black Ray and Chibisu. Holding that map control, holding it so well. Is it reading defense, by the way?
Kitchen defense.
Kitchen defense.
All the way down
I was bamboozled.
The silhouettes can be deceiving sometimes.
Especially on this map.
Oh, yeah, especially on this map. I mean,
you're looking up top.
Reeves is just destroying the roam clear completely. I mean, they're coming for him 2 people at once. He just shuts them both down. He's half HP. And then again, now, the round is statistically over, or strategically over, should I say. There's no realistic chance for CG to win this round unless Bleed make a massive mistake or CG go for a crazy clutch of a round. And they're completely locked outside the building. Wedding window is Akoli. Last suicide Bakery double door. No one's in the building until now. The defenders, they don't care about Bakery. They've gone upstairs from Hoven, made vertical construction on the floor. They're playing that second line of defense. It's beautiful to watch. It's completely locking CG out of this match.
And there goes Arcully now as well. Suzu and Anaton, the last 2 remaining. Chibisu yet to get a kill through these 5 rounds. Suzu's only got 1. Arcully in it with 1. The offense for Cyclops has been so poor. Reaps collects a 3rd, and how about a 4th? No, there goes Asfi. Reaps just buying time. Anaton finds them both. Winnable, but Turnsta says no. The birthday boy gets the job done. 5-0 for Bleed to start off this Kafe map.
Yeah, we might need all 3 maps or a yawn from Turnsta. The indirect disrespect. They're saying, you know what, this is too easy. They got some banter in in-game chat right now, so I know you guys can't see all of it, but I didn't really understand it, so I can't really paraphrase it either. See you later, Curie was said. I guess not a...
Might be somebody's name.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Could be an inside joke as well. Not over yet, buddy. Oh, the buddy. You know, buddy is one of the like most disrespectful ways to be like friends. You know. Okay, buddy. Bud.
Okay, bud.
Budster.
Okay, pal.
Yeah, pal. It like makes my blood boil when people do that to me in video games. I'm like, I'm not your buddy. But I mean, the first time these two teams played yesterday, that was on Consulate. The third map here is also Consulate. And I personally am a big fan of just seeing teams actually rematch on that first map, but in a best-of-3 scenario, where is the decider? Because then you really get to see the evolution of the teams in the 2 days they've been here, but also in a best-of-3 scenario, how Border played out made us expect Kafe to not be a one-sided game for Bleed, and I'm really curious where that leaves Consulate, because both of these two teams, they have literally played each other on that just 24 hours ago yesterday, and now they're going through with that knowledge of how they both played it, what they've learned in the interim, and how they're approaching this best-of-3. I will say though, if Reeves keeps playing like this, that is definitely going to mean that Bleed is going to have a great chance both on Kafe as well as Consulate if they need to go there. So far, nobody can seem to shut him down. Curious to see what their approach is going to be here, because they just look very disjointed. It's almost like the cracks are showing in the armor. CAG looked so good yesterday in their second matchup, so good in map number 1, and now we're kind of seeing the old version of themselves where they're not playing together, no trades are coming through, very disjointed, no clear like visual approach here, strategy, what they want to achieve. They're just kind of fishing for kills right now, rappelling outside the building.
Yeah, I mean, that cohesion that we saw out of them.
Yeah, it's gone.
It's gone! It's really disappointing. And obviously, the scoreline is showing just that. Bleed could very easily accomplish a 6-0 first half. There's been very little from Cyclops so far that we've seen.
Okay.
That shows us that could be the case. Suzu dead early yet again. That's the Capitao, who will have no impact for the second time.
Yep. And again, you pick the Capitao for a specific purpose typically, and then he just dies. Both of those 2 rounds gets picked up. It's not a good look again. And I mean, we have top-down view, we have what you guys see in the first-person view. I can't tell you what CHG they look like they want to be doing, because they're just solo playing right now, and they are going to get too close here. But it's individual heroics again. The team cohesion is still not there to support this push. TPSU outside the building, tosses a smoke grenade, no follow-up. So they get the kills, but no map control for it.
Now Mentalist on red stairs. He could be a difference maker as Cyclops wanders on in, and there you go. 2 kills from Bleed. Cyclops losing it again. Now Anderton is down for the count. Black Ray will need to clutch out. Oven and Turdsta, the last 2 for Bleed. Cyclops pull off a 1v2. Black Ray has looked like one of the best players so far for Cyclops, but that's a tall goal. We'll have to contend with limited information. He sees where the mirror is. Doesn't want that engagement just yet. He'll save that one for later. Instead, Turdsta is the intended target. Playing inside a train. Joining part of this map between the sites, and Black Ray doesn't see it to the right. A 6-0 perfect half for Bleed.
Yeah, and again, it just looks like there's no communication ahead of time. Our colleague goes to the double kill, a risky play, and everyone knows that that's probably what's going to be happening because he got a good flank timing off. But then nobody makes a play off of it. 10 seconds go by, then we see Chibisu jump in the bumps at window, sprint into train, and just die with diffuser in hand. It's like, what was the train of thought there? That's the bomb side, you don't have train control, you know there's at least 1 defender in the area of the map, but don't have any intel on where exactly that's going to be. And even if Chibisu ran on in, you can't plant the diffuser. It's not the most confidence-inspiring situation when your player who's 0 and 5 becomes your greatest asset for entry playing. Just run into the building, get some kills. You told the guy who's 0-5. I'm not going to believe it. And I feel like Chibisu himself are not going to believe that to be the case either. Match point. 6-0 for Bleed on the second map. And it's a CAG. They are going to play Clash on a kitchen and kitchen hold. That definitely is a way to start things off. Because typically we don't see Clash played on Kafe, and especially not on this bomb site. We did see, I believe, it was Foxay from OXG in stage 2 of the NL here, who did do like a Clash clutch, where he did we call it the bikini body, right? You do the 180 shield swap, 180 back, get the kill with the primary weapon. And Fox actually clutched around forward with that play. He was very proud of it on Twitter. It's a good clip from him. But that's not usually what happens when you play the Clash. We'll see what CG can do. I hate to kind of say this, but there's always a scenario in best of threes where is it actually worth for CAG to expend so much effort and energy to try and make a comeback when you're down 0-6 when you could just take it to the third map of Consulate, reserve that energy, and go again? Not saying they're going to do that, but it's just like, is it worth the effort? But Consulate says yes. Take down the top gunner of Reeps. Finger as well. And it starts CAG off on the right foot here in the first round of defense.
That's what they need, but this could be a very long road to walk back. The only way that Cyclops wins this series 2-0 is by winning 6 rounds in a row and then 2 in overtime. I mean, prior to Bleed doing it, I would have said it was unlikely. But both of these teams have now streaked in their respective matchups. Cyclops did it against Talon, if you remember yesterday's match, winning 5 to start off border. It's possible, as unlikely as it may be. We'd love to see Bleed do it. I think I personally only ever witnessed one 6-6 side half, and I think it involved Team Liquid. I believe I was casting it. I could be wrong.
All right.
Aniton forced off of that position as a nade gets dropped into his lap, but that's what the Clash does. Protects you from that explosive damage. Wandering on back into the kitchen bomb site.
What's next, though? I mean, Buck's going to get the jump down right now. The vertical plate is Hoven. Open the floor, get those lines of sight, but frontside take here at Bakery might not be what they actually want to go for. Because again, our Coley's got to shut down those X-Kairos, stop the beach from going through. And Bleed, they're playing this very cautiously, very slowly, but they don't have the time to work with. Hoven, who's on the box, has been most of this run on drones so far, and there's still more stuff starting to go around. Again, yeah, you're destroying the floor, but you're not finding any of those players. No target acquired here. Just fishing for hopefully a misplay from CAG, but they're not making it. They're playing far back.
Well, 30 seconds left, and the action is going to get fast and furious right now, benefiting Cyclops, as there goes Asfi to Black Ray. Kurds does 7-1. What an impressive number. And he's got to have to deal with the Wamai. He does so. Down goes Black Ray. Who is next? Looking over towards Closet. Bleed is now taking the numbers advantage. Hoven under fire, though, to Aniton, who puts the shield back on as Chibasu is the only gun remaining. Still looking for the first kill. Aniton, can he find Turnstone time? No. Chibasu does not get a single kill. Bleed wins 7-0 on map 2.
Well, how do they do it? They're down so bad in numbers with no map control. They walk in Bakery, they just go for the plant, and they get kill after kill after kill, and the Clash does not matter in that round.
That was supposed to be Cyclops' map?
Absolutely.
Excuse me?
Okay. I mean, we get the match that I want to see. The rematch on Consulate where things started off in the very first match of this tournament yesterday morning.
Unbelievable. 1 kill for Suzu, 0 for Chibisu. Not exactly the results that either of those players likely wanted. What a fast Kafe. Goodness gracious.
Yep. And I mean, the comeback is all building up, and now all of a sudden the momentum, that mental advantage is now in favor of Bleed.
Yeah. There's a lot to diagnose with that. I'm sure Bleed is very happy with that performance. Cyclops has some soul searching to do as we reset for the very final map. Loser of Consulate goes home. Will it be Bleed or will it be Cyclops? We'll find out in a couple minutes.
Hello, I'm Dominique Clément, game designer on Rainbow Six Siege. The next season is right around the corner. And if you don't get the latest operator on release, you might still want to review your ABCs on some of the operators already available today in the game. The Electric Bandit, the Wise Kaid, and the Quiet Mute will be welcoming a new troublemaker into their ranks, ready to give breachers a few headaches. Working out your pulse and solus muscles will ensure you'll be able to provide invaluable intel to this new operator. And let's not forget about Ella, Fenrir, and our other trap operators who each bring a unique ingredient that can be used in crafting some really crazy strategies with this new operator. So jump into the game and review your basics with these operators, so you'll be ready to synergize with the new operator when it comes out next season. See you then.
NIP just hold on, keep their composure after the loss of Pino.
Young is turning in his grave right now. I can tell you that. Wish that was his bailiff back in the day. Would have ended up winning him Milan, for those of you that did not know. But Ninjas in Pajamas get things done. A little messy on the execute there. Really coming down to the blitz as well as the player dropping from the hatch, kind of eclipsing each other and getting smoked by Cons with that EBR. So much damage pours out from that gun. You really just need 1 or 2 shots and somebody is definitely feeling your wrath. But that's going to be it there for Crest's first offense. I mean, honestly, it built up well, but there it is. I mean, just that perfect shot from Cons as well onto Lua through Cons' head as well. Just caught him right in the shoulder. But it was 1 bullet with that collat. Don't see that one every day.
No, and NIP had that exact execute countered. Cons, of course, on that angle, but also C4 recognizing that, oh, we need to C4 close, not C4 far and server, once they saw that hatch drop. So overall, good reactions from NIP to what execute Crest were going for and the tools they needed to counter it. So now NIP, after winning the basement, move all the way to the opposite side, vertically speaking, of Bank. How will Crest deal with this? Not like the Amaru we saw from NIP, not the Glass, but with that Monty, it's gotta be from the main stairs.
It's gotta be, right? You never really see it coming from square. Monty kinda has a difficult time sometimes when it comes to the janitor area, depending on the positioning. Like if you don't have somebody on north windows to play counter angles or something like that, you can run into some problems. But you can see this, honestly, might be a position that we might actually see Lua push, because they're gonna put the Mira in here. So they could actually just have Lua clear that out too. So actually, this is gonna be pretty wide as to the way that they can apply themselves to this overall setup.
At least right now, Lua is definitely concerned with that lobby side, but if they do take care of that stock shield, yeah, no, that's the default position to play, but if they do take care of that stock shield with that Mira, he could very easily apply pressure to that Mira playing that position if Crest were to take control of the vending hallway. But right now, the Hibana, the Monty, or more specifically, or more broadly, ranged hard breach and Monty. It's the combination for the spiral side.
Yeah, and that's the thing. That's the key thing about this top floor site. And the first step for, it doesn't matter. Your ranked game should have this step. You break that wall.
Always.
You should break elevator wall. And if you're not breaking elevator wall, you're trolling. That's what you're doing. Because that angle is just so good, man. It shuts down everything. Very unfortunate there with the EMPs. They get it this time, though. Does Wizard get the shuffle? I think he got it. We're about to see.
He's got to. Yep, that's easy. Done. Boom.
Easy. And I do believe that's the secondary EMP out too, so very unfortunate. And now Crest are in a really, really bad spot for this top clear because a lot of that stock fending hallway is free.
But here is that interesting position. Is that hallway free? They can't hold the long angle in main lobby, but if they do go for that rotate, they've still got the utility to deal with that stock shield.
Yes, they do.
They could still cut it off just from a different position and far less safe for the attack.
Oh, but they're not doing it on good timing right now. That's the problem.
Minute 10, yeah. The rotate's just not happening at this point.
Yeah, the decision's not being made. You can definitely tell that this is more than likely their setup in general. This is what they go for. Pino's going to take quite a bit of damage. I think that was from a frag grenade at a Zero. Now they're going to start pushing up Blue. Impacts out. Lua's got so much damage dealt to him. They're trying to swing in on him. He's very low on HP, so I'm surprised he went for it in that regard, but it's going to be 2 kills going the way of the green as Ninjas in Pajamas bodying Crest initially, but Crest fire back. 45 seconds remaining. This is still doable, especially with Tiopi here on Banana. He's got someone directly to his left and Pino on very low HP. There's a lot to be said still in this round.
All quiet. Just holding. Tiopi finally goes for a swing. Gotta pick the diffuser back up to Keep all their options open. One playing close. He's so focused. Oh, the Warden now turns. Tiopi doesn't check. Claire doesn't check it, but Tiopi gets the trade. The single player from Crest, who's kept them alive in round 18, now pushes forward, but he's got to be the one to put the bomb down. Zero and Echo needs to cover. Is he inside the building? Yes, he is, but he misses the Echo. Cross completely. NIP widen their lead even further, holding on to CEO.
Very well done from Nip there to keep their patience and force them to try and get the objective down. And that's where they're able to capitalize on things. So Via sticks it, able to not only pick up that kill, but also transition that into the last Crest player over on the quad windows. Crest getting completely thwarted on their initial game plan, getting that elevator hall open, but still somehow, some way, able to get some pretty impactful kills that led us down to a clutch situation from Ninjas in Pajamas.
I might be wrong. I just checked real quick. I think if NIP were to win this, this would be our first 3-map series at Atlanta as well. I think all the best.
That wasn't exactly the result that we expected on map 2 either, was it, Nick?
Nope, it's been a surprising best of 3 so far, but a quick one, I gotta say.
Oh, absolutely. And now we go to Consulate, which is where they played yesterday in their very initial matchup. Before we get there, what happened in Kafe?
Oh boy.
The middle column in your screen tells the entire story.
Yeah, and look to the right and look a little bit down. Cheapest was 0-7, dropping a James Bond, and Susu with 1-6. And this means on the bingo card for Jack, they got a 0-7 game and a donut as well. So 2 check marks on the bingo card.
We did not get to see every single bomb site, though, on Kafe.
True.
That was one of the things that we were looking for. There was no reading defense to be had, so what can you do? You can't get them all at the same time.
We coulda, woulda, shoulda.
Now we turn towards Consulate, where Bleed won yesterday 7-3, our very first matchup of the day to start off the play-ins. What do you expect between these two teams going back to familiar ground for both of them?
That's the issue, right? Expectations from map number 1 of Border and 2 of Kafe were just not met because of surprise in both scenarios. So what am I expecting for the third map? I don't know anymore. I'm expecting Bleed to play that solidified, disciplined style of Consulate that we know and love. And also, I will say, I do think Consulate favors Bleed more than CAG because Consulate plays a lot more like Kafe than it does Border. It's like hell in a cell inside the building. It's hard to get in, and you get locked up very easily. And that seems to be where Bleed, they thrive as a defending team. And guess what? It gets worse. Bleed starts on defense, and the fan vote is going back and forth. Bleed started being the favor for map number 1. Second map, CAG were favored, and now we're back to Bleed on 63% from the fans here on Consulate. And to be fair, if you start defense on Kafe, then you start defense on Consulate, you are having the most fun of your life right now if you're Bleed.
Oh, Anaton, you liar.
He did lie. How dare he?
He said it wouldn't be Monty, and guess what? It was Monty.
I mean, I respect the fact that CAG are banning it on this map because we did see how well Bleed played the Monty the first time these two teams squared off. But we also, I kind of want to see something new from Cyclops. They're doing a lot of the same stuff in the Arbiter ban phase, not really targeting anything specific. And in the in-game rounds as well, it seems like CAG, they have a couple of ideas. But when something doesn't stick for 2 rounds in a row, they're like, okay, now what? So while they have been building up their strat folder and their adaptability, of course, it's still early days for them. They can only go so far and so deep into that strat, but because it hasn't been built up over that long of a time period, Bleed will start again on the favorable side of defense. They go downstairs to the basement first. CAG on the problem-solving field right now. And I'm trying to catch the in-game banter here. And it's the most, like, calm and relaxed conversation in-game ever. Because then we saw, like, Dark Zero G2 earlier, and they were talking some mad smack to one another. This is very friendly, very family-friendly as well. I appreciate these guys. They're very wholesome.
Yeah, is that?
Kill them with kindness, you know?
Agreed.
Yeah.
Agreed. All right, I'm in the basement. Let's go back to yesterday. We'll talk about the bomb site rotations that we saw on Consulate. CAG started on defense. They went to Garage first. When Bleed defended first, they went to Console office upstairs before switching to Garage next. So, watch and see how these sites unfold. All 4 bomb sites on Consulate do tend to get played if teams have a comfort level, at least a decent understanding of it. And given that it ended up being the map yesterday and we're showing it again, I'd imagine that similar state here.
Oh, you'd expect that. I will say that CAG very spread thin across the lineup here. Chibisu just doesn't know what's happening around him. Right, he gets shot the wall, gets injured by the goo mine. He was 0-7 on Kafe, and now with this death, maybe not. He's still alive. Oh, wait a second.
Asfi will get the finish.
0-8.
There you go.
Yep. In the last 8 rounds, Chibisu has gotten 0 kills and 8 deaths, and he's sledge here. Normally, that would be a cause of panic because he's dead. But Blacker is smart. He brought a backup soft vertical destroyer in the Ram operator. They can still get the job done inside of Piano, get those vertical lines to the floor towards the bomb site, but it's still a long road here in the first round for Cyclops. They have no easy way in, but might not need it because Hoven, he eagerly swings the breach and gets shut down immediately.
So back to even footing as now next attempt will be walking into that breach. Blackray still has 2 of those booby drones for Ram. Suzu attempting the plant but falls off of it. There goes Arcali as smoke rains out. And they're actually just using the boogie drones to conceal the sound. Blackray's tossed 2 of them in. Suzu's been dropped though and will crawl into the smoke and ultimately die. Cyclops getting the diffuser down. They've only got 2 players remaining though. Could it be a Pyrrhic victory for them? Oh, Bleed's not moving a muscle. They're not going for it at all. There they do. They line up. Blackray finishing him off. Asfi trying to keep their attention outside, playing around it. And he sees one as Mentalist hops on the diffuser.
Okay.
He's going for the counter disable, shut down at the last second, and CAG wins it in the post plant.
I mean, I respect Asfi going for that flank. Don't go out the yellow door, just fly out the window and run around instead. I will say CAG, that was a heroic planned effort, and I cannot believe it went down. Yeah, the boogie drones went down, they made a lot of noise, but the red ping and yellow ping was there on the defense. I feel like they could have shut down that plant either from above in Piano or by swinging through those smoke grenades. Maybe they thought that CAG had a glass in the board that could see through the smokes, but we know that they did not. Trucks are able to go out as well, but it didn't do enough damage in time to shut down the plant attempt. And the post plant, unlike on Kafe in that first round, was actually great. You can play outside the building, outside that good old breach from far, far back, and shut down any attempt at a counter defuse. The CAG, they needed that round desperately, especially after losing Chibisu early, playing from that 4 versus 5 position, but evening the numbers pretty early on because Hoven was not paying respects to the breach being opened up. And that can easily be your downfall. You win a 7-0 game. It was oh so easy. You get a bit of an ego. You get a bit of overconfident. And then you go for plays that you don't necessarily need to be making in those rounds. Bleed, go from downstairs all the way to the top floor of CEO instead and change things around. And this side is more about holding on to map control. You see the shields being put down on the admin visa all the way up top floor. And that's usually the #1 area of the map, on the east side at least. And then likewise, on the west, you have the yellow staircase as well. That's the other crucial spot to be holding on towards. That's where Hogan has put down those Fenrir gadgets, the barbed wire, etc. as well. It's the only real ways into the bomb site here for the attack inside. We saw Mentalist with the exact same upper lineup last time these 2 teams played. Is him on Tashanga. Has the fire, can shut down the CO window plant and stop them in a rush. The Twitch drone getting so much value. Fenrir gadget gone. Goyo fire canister gone as well. So now yellow stairs much weaker for the taking now. It could be an angle for CAG later in this round. They did do it last time, so if the prep work from Bleed has been made, they should be expecting this. Nade is primed and ready. But so many different informations here. Yellow pings, red pings, sound, etc. Nade goes out. It does a little bit of damage. It doesn't confirm the kill.
Just missing out on Mentalist, doing a little bit of damage. Setting hot breach. Now Suzu will open things up ever closer to that projector bomb site. Chanka was brought by Mentalist in yesterday's matchup, if you recall. It's also the same first 2 bomb sites that were played by Bleed. Blackray and Arcali are not too far removed from one another. Blackray down beneath the bomb site. Half of the round expired at this point. Chibisu still searching for his first kill in about an hour or so. Asfi dies to Arcoli. So Cyclops will get on the board first. Arcoli not even taking any points of damage at the moment. Still have Adrenal Surges from Chibisu, all 3 to be used, so got an ability to get yourself right back up. Shumiga Launcher, fire out some of those fire bolts, those Molotovs. Mentalist taking some damage in the process as the bees are unleashed by Suzu as well. Arcoli dies. That's, I guess, what you get as a reward for the very first pick for your team.
I like the Zhanga play here to deny the CO repel position. It's very innovative, I would say. And the thing is, we know the other side is kind of weakened from the defense because all that utility was cleared out earlier by the Twitch drone. So Menzel is doing a great job of keeping back the defenders, and Reeves plays really well off that angle.
They're keeping it even as the fire will continue to go. Now it's Cyclops to walk in, or repel in, rather. Get that diffuser down. Anaton with another kill as he circles around through the smoke, but Mentalist wins it, and now amidst the bees, it's Suzu to try and clutch, but he can't get it done. 4 kills for Turd through those 2 rounds.
Oh boy, and it's again the same scenario where the Tashanka buff to the gun doing 60 damage now instead of 49, really shining through for Bleed and for Mentalist. Because yesterday, the exact same execute happened from the side of Cyclops. It's the bees, Grim on the Zero Repel, throws out the bees, rappels on in, tries to go for the plant. And Mentalist, in that pretty much 1 versus 2, finds the cover and then finds the plant shortly after. This time, it was a shotgun player of Mute who got that kill instead. Great coordination from Bleed. That's what I was talking about earlier. They're great at setting up that disciplined crossfire. There's a fire coming out from Mentalist, Reap swinging off it. They get a 1-for-1 trade, and they kept trading in even numbers, keeping the bomb set relatively safe in their favor. Cyclops, they keep losing 1 man relatively early to not really anything. Just an overstep or a misstep, should I say. But they need all members alive for those executes to go their way.
It's the exposition room, aka piano. That once again was the 3rd site that Bleed went to, so they are following a very similar rotation. Obviously, they've swapped out garage and console office. But yeah, I mean, I guess things are similar enough, and it doesn't really surprise us at all. No. Pulse being brought by Turd down below.
Calibrate all set.
Gotta get that intel. Turd stat, yeah.
Turd stat.
Saw Citizen wished him happy birthday with a turd emoji. So he also plays the meme.
It's kind of rude.
Yeah, you know. There's a smiley face on it, so it was a happy turd.
Of course.
Of course.
Well, that makes it all the better then, doesn't it?
Yeah, smiley faces have a big impact on the context of the message, I would say.
Anaton with 5 kills so far, competing against Turdstone with 4. Just through 2 rounds, that's quite impressive. Chibisu, no kills through 9 rounds so far. Might even be longer than that. If we go back to round number 1, I can't remember the last time Chibisu got a kill in map 1.
We got some, we know that much. See you again, CG. I like that they're taking their time, not really, again, risking anyone dying early. Using their drone intel on those 2 so far, reaching from lobby towards that piano area of the bomb site. So they get some lines of sight, some pressure. It's gonna force a response and Bleed, rotating around, establishing a crossfire again. Ashby rather, from bottom spiral stairs. Gonna help Mentalist here on the bomb site. He's the anchor player, pretty much alone though. And the vertical control is still favoring Bleed. They can see most things from above. It's down to CAG to find a weak spot or a blind angle. And they got smokes to work with. They could do this, actually.
Burns has got that Nitro Cell primed and ready. Still in back pocket. As explosives will go both ways. Chibisu tossing out the nade as it blows up some of the floor. Now it's Reaps to be the first to die for Bleed in this round. Anaton continuing the good work that he's done so far on Consulate. His team relying on him to get a lot of these kills, and oh my goodness, another on a Mentalist. Turns to use that C4 to punish Suzu. Oven now, looking to capitalize off of that goo mine, and fortunately pulls trigger a little bit too early. Now it's a nice yourself to go, but Chibisu's died to Asfi, still searching for his first kill. What a mess this round is. Black Ray giving an advantage back to Cyclops, as it's Asfi and Hoven.
Chaotic round.
Oh my, Anaton taking some damage to Hoven. Arcoli now softened up too. Arcoli and Black Ray both quite low. Bullet or two will be all it needs. Arcoli, you didn't even just see the Valkyrie there. Asvi last alive, a nice play, and he's got both of them with so little HP. Bleed get 2 in a row and take the lead.
It was constant action for a minute and 30 seconds straight, and there's a back and forth for both teams, and it really comes down to the pulse downstairs, getting the C4 kill to shut down the plant and buy Bleed enough time to retake through Yellow Staircase in toward Piano. And again, the intel game is excellent. The Valkyrie cams, constant yellow and red pings, they play well off the information, and Cyclops, it could not stabilize in that round. And it's again, it boils down to very simple things. Where is the IQ to counter Valkyrie? One operator can make a huge difference in these rounds. And yeah, Anaton playing the Twitch last round with the DMR, did a great job at denying some of the utility, but didn't find the cameras. That was an issue for them later on. We gotta keep talking about it, I guess. Chibisu really having a hard time, and when we watch him and spectate him in first person, we can tell he doesn't look all that comfortable. He's kind of just walking around, looking the wrong direction, not really being a cohesive unit with the rest of his team. So I think if you are Cyclops and able to identify that Chibisu was having a rough game, putting him on a support operator, just drone and support his teammates instead of being an entry or a second entry might be the way forward. Now Chibisu is back on Finka, where yeah, you got grenades and adrenal surges, but if he keeps dying early in the round, you're not going to be able to utilize any of that at any point in the round. They go back downstairs with a very similar lineup, the mirror window, the smoke canisters, etc. But what they want is a different result. Last time they let Cyclops plant that bomb and play post-plant successfully, and it's how they got their first and so far only round victory.
Drones going in and immediately being shot out as the discovery phase continues for Cyclops. They open up that garage panel quite easily as there go logic bombs as well. So an early expenditure of utility from Cyclops to try and pin down these players from Bleed. I don't know how successful ultimately they've been. Turdstra roaming from above. He gets spotted by the drone. Now it's Black Ray to die to Asfi. Bleed getting on the board first is a good sign. Could propel them to a third round in a row, and there's Reaps with another almost getting Chibisu as well. Finka immediately vaulting out and using the very first adrenal surge is, well, not much of a surprise.
And it's just Reaps, he's everywhere right now since Kafe. Always roaming with that SMG-11 in hand, looking for blood, looking for kills. Usually finding at least one. He goes back upstairs, drops to the bottom spiral, looking for more, got the C4 in pocket as well. And it's CAG again, they gotta problem solve. They need to make all the first moves right now, but they're locked outside of the main areas. And Chibisu, he's done it! He's gotten his first kill in, what, 10 rounds? He's on the board, ladies and gentlemen. Of course, now he wants more. And there it is, the yellow ping, a second volley. He is back in action, baby.
Fire on all cylinders as Chibisu picks up 2, and there goes another adrenal surge, just giving him more HP in the process. The drones will meet their maker at the bottom of the stairs as the mute jammers block that signal and prevent them gaining further information. So instead, the focus for Cyclops with 1 minute remaining is to blow open as much of the floor and use that with your own eyes.
Minute to go, 3 versus 3. Attackers still very much in this one. They got smoke grenades, as well as flashbangs. There's only a mirror window in their way right now. Bit of vertical construction buff could, of course, render it useless. Open. C4 in pocket as well. Could deny the plant if they attempt and go for it. Gotta go soon, though. Time is ticking down, but they want to ensure that everybody's in the right position to go for this. Where does Chibisu go? Is it going to be the flank or is it going to be yellow stairs? Because they gotta play together.
Well, the answer is more caliber-based destruction, isn't it? Okay. Removing one of those bulletproof cameras as here come the smokes out of pocket from Anaton. Attacker smokes, not the other way around. 1 gas canister for Mentalist will go on to the opening with only 10 seconds left. There's gonna be some damage done as the Nitro Cell connects with Suzu. Chibisu dies, and Anaton, in a vain attempt, will sit amidst the smoke. Getting eerily close to pulling it off, but bailing off at the last second, and Bleed will find their 3rd round in a row.
Beautiful utility used there by Bleed. The smoke goes out, denying the entry, and they think, okay, what if they're already past the smoke? We're gonna run through it in just a second. C4 gets tossed out, perfect timing. Denies the plan to the moment he gets in through that breach, and they also get to confirm that, yes, they were indeed inside the bomb site. They are looking for that play. You guys can't see it, but Reeves just said, I owned you, Arcoli, in chat. And again, it's such nice disrespect. I owned you, Arcoli. There's no, yeah, nice flick, not gonna lie. Look at this. He says, I own you. Yeah, nice flick, by the way. That's that 1600 DPI. Like, it's the most wholesome trash talk I've ever witnessed. And that stinky mousepad. L. Oh boy. I mean, he's not wrong. It is a bit cursed. But this is Bleed very much in the driver's seat. They got a good read in these situations, and they're just gonna go through these 3 bomb sites. Basement into top floor. Actually, they did play, yeah, basement, yeah, definitely. I'm trolling myself. Basement to CO into lobby.
10 seconds remaining.
Back top floor right now. Deshaun get that stable pick to deny things. Now also joined by Goyo like last time. There's Twitch, that was the counter play from Cyclops, but will not be seen playing this round. Instead, the Glass coming out with the Grim. So they're cooking something else up this round for CAG. They're changing it around.
I do like the changes, but again, we always see these changes in isolation. Gridlock's pick rate has continued to creep up and up and up as we have watched these teams play, and the big reason for that are the grenades being added to her kit. Yana has effectively disappeared, by the way.
Just like that.
So it just goes to show you how important grenades are. Sledge falling off, Yana falling off, now teams running with soft destruction in the hands of other operators. It's also worth noting that Gridlock brings a super shorty. Now, it's not the best gun for soft destruction because you only get 3 shots with it before you have to reload. But in a pinch, it can work quite effectively at destroying walls and floors, and we've seen Gridlocks use it time and time again.
It's just a very flexible operator. It gives you so much value. And speaking of new operator presence, Grim as well, getting a higher and higher pick rate, specifically in Brazil in Stage 2. Played almost everything around on maps like Kafe, often on Consulate as well. Will be played this round on that CEO repel. It's Susu looking for that initial canister to shoot out. Chibisu, fish with grenades. Here's the running footsteps up above, but he's oh so fast, running away from that soft destruction. He doesn't find anything. No point of damage done, but it's Reeves again with the opening kill. This time onto Black Ray. He's gonna slow things down from CAG.
Sounded like one set of track stingers were going off. I couldn't tell, depending on the utility that was used, whether you got a lot of value out of that. But one set of nades down, the last remaining grenade in the hands of Chibisu, and it's good enough to get Hogan. Now Suzu will vault in, same spot to go for the plan as before. This has been tried time and time again, and it just does not work out. But Arcoli and Aniton able to get on the board across from Mentalist does not work. Asfi last alive in a 1v3. 1 minute to go. Hear the sound of that dread mine going off. Somebody choking on the Fenrir gas. Asfi will push up. Diffuser needs to be retrieved, and Asfi's given his position away. 40 seconds left. Tears through Chibisu and also evades the glass. Looking for more, have to reload as Arcoli comes into the rescue and just, I mean, at that point, desperate times call for desperate measures, and desperation was definitely the name of the game for CAG. They win their second round, the lead is still Bleeds.
And it didn't really matter that Glass was in that round or not because it wasn't utilized in the execute, so to speak, but Cyclops did make a small adaptation that did have a pretty big impact on what happened in that round. It was the off-pace, like out-of-sync planned attempt. Last time, it was Susu repelling in last in a 2 versus 2, trying to go for the plant. This time, Susu was first in the building, started planting with no cover whatsoever. And sure, Reeves sprinted across CEO and shot him down, but there was a trade-off. Glass plus someone else instead of a small box next to CEO, and they got 2 or 3 kills off of that play. So while they don't play for the diffuser going down, they did trade 1 death for the cost of 3 kills. It's very much worth it for them. And you can just kind of stabilize like they did, rotate another one into CO window, grapple in and try it again. Bleed, they're gonna go back-to-back on bomb sites, same operator lineup. That normally indicates that something didn't go the way they planned for. Once again, they got caught off guard by surprise. They didn't expect that off-place attempt from Susu. But now they also know they love that Grim and CEO repel. They brought the Glass and Yellow Stairs last time. They might need to change some of the utility around or player positions because no one's really applying pressure across the map. It's a very one-sided push from CAG, and it can be stopped from Bleed if they rotate their players accordingly.
Yep. Good way of putting it. Attacking this upstairs bomb site now. Second time. you bring a different group of tools at your disposal. But Bleed likes this operator lineup on defense. I will say, I don't know how influential the Tachanka has been on this defense. And I know that might sound like sacrilege to some people, but at the end of the day, there might be a more suitable operator. I assume that the Tachanka's goal is to go for the bank shots. Chibisu, who had a bad previous game, but is now suddenly playing much better, breaks even at 5-5, getting the leadoff pick on the Reaps, who wanders towards Admin and has no idea whatsoever where he should be looking.
Would have been a great grenade, but it is there to catch it instead, so it doesn't go off. And Reeves peeked very aggressively towards Admin, got shot down immediately. It's a bit of a surprising push because they must have thought there was nobody there. A back and forth trade, Arcoli gets asked, but also Blackbeard goes down to the gas of Hoven. So now, still favoring CAG in the 4v3. But this is a different push. No longer about yellow staircase to CO. It's all about Admin, Office, and Visa. So a complete 180 attack here. Great adaptation from Cyclops. And it's caught Bleed off guard entirely. Mentalist rotates that deployable shield onto Shanga. They're now waiting. Half the round to go. CAG trying to stabilize. Get that second wave of drones up. There's only 2 left remaining on the board for them. They have almost no intel to work with. If Fleet simply hide in some corners, that could very easily punish them because they have no intel to work with. They're going dry peek in every single angle.
Well, still a good sign for Cyclops with just a minute to go.
Loading new mag.
Patience from Bleed with still some utility. A plant, not a lot though, Nick. If you look at it, only 1 gas canister from Hoven, no nitro cell from Turdsta. You're basically relying on Mentalist at this point.
Yeah, with 20 streamer launcher shells, that's a lot of fire for a very long duration.
Flash goes out by Arcully as there looks like a follow-up will unfold. Last gas goes out with 30 seconds remaining, so you know when the push will come in. That's the final 15 seconds. Anaton with 9 kills to his name. It's Suzu with 0 at this point, doing his Chibisu impression. Hoven swings! Turdsta gets in as well, and now it's Anaton alone in a 1v3. He'll catch the smoke. His position given away, though, at this point, and he's winning these duels with 11 kills. All he needs is Mentalist, who just has to play keep away, but Mentalist takes the engagement anyway. What a mad lad. First half goes to Bleed 4-2.
Way too close a conflict for a phenomenal play from Hoven. I mean, what a save, the shotgun swing, swap to the secondary SMG-11, get the second kill as well, the follow-up, but then things, they fall apart. Anaton, with 2 quick kills back-to-back, puts it down to a 1 versus 1. But it could have been a tied series, 3-3, goes 4-2 instead in favor of Bleed. And they need that, because now they go onto the attacking side, and this time, one big key thing has changed. There is no Munty available for Bleed. When they played against each other yesterday, it was all about Munty being played every single round for Bleed. Mentalist, Hoven, Turdsta, all 3 players took their turns with Munty, and it worked out more often than that. Is how they found their attacking round victories. It's gone now. And yeah, you can try and something with Blitz maybe on Osa, but it's just not the same. So Bleed, they're forced into a more conventional style of playing Consulate with quote-unquote normal gun-based operators, but one thing I think that favors them, they love playing the IQ. So if Valkyrie or Echo gets brought out by Cyclops, they have no reason not to just bring Turdsta onto that operator of IQ because he tends to do it every single time it's needed. So CAG were missing themselves. Where a Pulse or a Valkyrie was brought out, they could not find the cameras. So Bleed's difficulties should lie elsewhere. One thing will stay the same though for these 2 teams. They both start in the basement. And I think it's a great place to start. You have less things to worry about. You only have to worry about the basement floor itself and the singular floor above it. Top floor is just this kind of like unknown territory where you don't have to worry about it unless you're roaming very deeply across the bomb site. That's not the case right now. To Bleed, they gotta make their advance, approach the building, get those drones out and choose where are they going to be entering from. But Blackbeard, he lost that run out the meeting balcony. Hasn't found anything so far. Because everybody from Bleed are playing very safe up on the roof, going down that yellow skylight. There is a present roam up top floor. So they're gonna meet each other soon enough. Almost actually going basement instead, surpassing the roam. He's past the enemy lines here, gets a jammer as well. Expecting somebody here on the yellow staircase, but we know, well, there's no one here.
Yeah, not as quick of an entry as we might have come to expect. So now Bleed will themselves possibly have some attacker-sided struggles. Reaps had a very good start, but has cooled off since then. It's been a team effort. Almost everybody on the attacking side of Bleed with 5 kills to their name. Hoven gets one on Anaton. That was the star of the previous round. But they lose Asfi first. So Bleed suffering the first blow, though it is a trade. Neither team at a big advantage. But if you trade the mute for the gridlock, I would say the gridlock in this instance is more valuable.
Being able to the players, right? Anaton 11 kills, Asfi on 5, so there's many ways to break that down, but I do agree with you. The utility that the gridlock provides for this particular round.
What an operator. I wanted just an unbelievable operator.
It's so simple, yet so effective and so noisy as well. But Blackray with the rotations, he's got the flank unlocked, doesn't find anything, that runs back down the Visa staircase. Says, you know what, I tried something, didn't work out. I'm gonna go back and play with my teammates and utilize that 4v4 position, because if you die here on the roam, you put your team in a less than favorable spot in that 4 versus 3 that would be. Still 45 seconds to go though. Self-destruction very quickly dealt with because Ram is on the board here. It's Turks that are doing the damage. But now they got into the building as well.
Yeah, just a huge amount of soft destruction. Arkley watching long range. As Reaps holds on to that diffuser, where do you go next? Bleed cannot get bogged down in this. They will ultimately stall out unless there's something they can do. Suzu still without a kill. Down goes Reaps. That's the diffuser surrendered. Mentalist doing some damage, not before being finished off himself by Suzu, who gets on the board. Hoven and Turnstone, last 2 remaining. Flashes go out, but the clock is not your friend at this point. They'll race down in the same position, but Cyclops just slaughtering them, and the clock will give the round to Cyclops even if the bullets don't. CAG within 1 of tying the game.
And this is exactly where the lack of Muncie becomes an issue for Bleed. Normally, if Muncie was open there, they can just walk in the breach, walk in yellow door, and start getting down a plant or force the defenders, out of their comfortable corners by, pushing them away with the Muncie. That's not possible any longer. So they just sit far back on Cyclops and then wait for the execute, and it never really arrives. There's no smoke grenades. There's no OSEN plate. There's no glass. There's no easy way into that breach or yellow door. They're completely locked out. So, if you're Bleed now, you can't just play fully objective unless you change your operators around for, again, like the OSA, the Blitz, the Glass, something like that, because Ying is banned out. So you kind of need to play for kills. You need to build yourself an advantage somewhere, and the only way to do that simply right now is simply in man count. The basement, it's hard to do that. Consulate is a very big map, a ton of different rooms. We saw Blackray running across the map with rotates everywhere, so hard to catch him. You lose the opening engagement as one side of Visa. You're already playing from a man down early on if you're Bleed. With gridlock, Ashby falling previously. Umside goes upstairs instead though. You can play off the repels, play on the yellow skylight, play off the spiral skylight as well. If you don't want to enter the building, you don't have to right now. Not at least to begin things off with. But eventually, you gotta get in. Otherwise, you can't get that diffuse down or even attempt to do it. Bleed, again, they bring that stable lineup. One big difference here, the IQ instead, but there's no real gadgets to find of value. Maybe the Grisp minus Melon, you don't get caught by surprise when entering a door, but besides that, no camera, simply.
So that first track stinger goes down to prevent a run out from that yellow door, by the way. I don't know if you witnessed that. But, I mean, if you're going to bring a Nomad and a Gridlock, which some teams do, in this case the lineup only has a Gridlock on it, no Nomad included. Might as well use one of those track stingers to prevent a run out, especially if you're going to go with any kind of vertical play, right? If you're going to hang on the windows. And Consulate, before its rework, used to be defined by that vertical play. Now, in this case, things are a bit more standard. It's a bigger map. It's easier to enter, which means that you don't have to necessarily worry about being cut down from a run out or a jump out, though they still do happen.
Drop the skylight, and drop the hatch as well. So Bleed the advance throughout top portion of the map, and it looks like CAG, they've mostly fallen off this top portion of the map, which is surprising because it's only been 1 minute and 20 seconds into the live action of the round. But maybe a yellow retake. We see 3 members creeping on up, looking for a play, but the line stops them immediately. So if Bleed don't have intel here, might be in for a surprise. Track stingers are of course gonna alert the attackers if they get shot or meleeed out. Verticality though, what's on the table? It's mostly Hoven here with soft breaching charges, or the secondary shotgun from Aston on the gridlock. But the bomb site's right below them, and it's mostly clear. If they figure this out, they can just go for a plant.
There's another nade tossed on down now as well. Asfi used all of the track stingers at this point. So much secondary utility being done, and I really like the fact that we are seeing all this soft destruction being brought on this map. It's very purposeful. Reaps outdueled by Suzu on the stairs, shotgun in hand. Suzu only 2 kills so far. Hard to argue their importance over the last 2 rounds. Now it's Anaton to continue to add to the tally that has reached 12 kills. Cyclops yet to suffer a loss. Mentalist and Hoven, the only 2 remaining for Bleed.
They're falling apart. I mean, why does Reaps go down the yellow staircase before the teammates are ready for an execute? Like, they got the vertical control, they're top floor, but they don't get to execute whatsoever. Now they're locked down. It's a crossfire established here. A trade, surely. No. Not yet. Oh.
Mentalist, the last one left. To toil now inside a piano.
15 seconds to go.
Bullet tracers to go by.
10 seconds.
It's effectively over
Yeah.
at this point. A nice pick on Anaton, but ultimately completely impactless. Tie game. CAG win 2 in a row on defense.
I'm not really feeling these Bleed attacks right now, and it might just be, again, the Monty Crouch worked out last time, but a good ban here from Cyclops stops him from doing it again. Bleed will call timeout, and I think this is exactly where you go. You're back tied in round score, it's 4-4. You're gonna end up on the attacking side until this game ends, unless you go to overtime. So, they gotta figure out the problems right now, and the good thing is, CAG won the last 2 rounds, basement and CO defense. They can pretty much guess with like an 85% likelihood the next bomb site is gonna be, wait, I'm trolling my notes again. They played lobby, didn't they? There was just lobby that was played. So, they played lobby. So they can expect it to be a top floor hold here from the side of CAG, because that Archives Taylor is not really played all that often. And just say, okay guys, let's focus on this next round, build that 1 round lead, get the 5-4, and then go from there. Because right now, it's all about the next round in isolation. It's the 3rd map of the best of 3. Energy levels are going to be a little bit lower. Players are going to be a little bit more exhausted, especially if you are the IGL, the in-game leader, making all these calls and decision-making and problem-solving. The longer a series goes on for, the more mentally draining it becomes, and the less energy you got in the reserve to make those hard decisions. So, it's a great spot right now for the coach to step in and say, guys, listen, I know it's rough, this is a situation we gotta deal with, these are the weaknesses, the issues at hand. Work on that, start from there. We immediately see Hoven go on to the Nuke for the first time this entire series for any of these 2 teams to play this operator, but likewise from Cyclops, also bringing out the Goyo, bringing out the Mute, slowing things down even more. They're expecting a fast play somewhere, or at the very least, they want a ton of different deny for the possibility of a fast take. Not gonna be easy for Bleed. But if Hoven could go for a flank in the mid-round with the Nuke and find an angle somewhere, create an issue, distraction, some chaos in the server, that could be the way forward for Bleed, because right now, if you're Cyclops, everything looks pretty predictable. You know, you play basement, they go for their own clear. That's understandable. You play lobby, they go top floor. That's pretty expectable as well. The Nuke could be the one deciding factor for the surprise effects. See where he goes first, though. Right now, the drone network is towards the admin side of things. Reach to drone it over the window and take it himself. But it's an isolated effort right now. No real help from him. He might not need it. Nate goes out, rappel on in, so he has no intel here, but he gets inside the building single-handedly, not using any of his teammates' resources.
As this matchup has gone long, as this match has gone long, it has already gone long. Even if we did break ahead with that 7-0 on second map.
Yeah.
Teams are taking themselves far more seriously. It's far more practiced, and I really appreciate that amongst them. The way these 2 squads have played, I don't really want to say goodbye to either of them at this point, but unfortunately we have no choice but to do that. Ooh. Down goes Suzu to Hoven. Nade thrown out. Lose the Mute. 2 good rounds from Suzu, but back to dead early.
It's a good nade. The yellow pings are still active in there, but there's no nades left, at least not from Hoven. As he's got them on the gridlock, but the issue is normally that player character in his different position. Shield gets taken out though for Blackberry, and he takes a bit of damage as well, so all of a sudden the strong fortified position is weakened and vulnerable. All we gotta do now is walk into that door with confidence, or just toss up more nades from below.
Chibisu is dead there. Asfi's nade, Bleed's advantage growing. Oh, such a pain. You can't take advantage of this, but there's Hoven again. Down goes Black Gray.
Attackers have located a bomb.
Nook still looking for more. First Goyo canister to break in front of him. Anaton slaughtered. Hoven with 3. A 4th as well. Arcali says no, that's more than enough. Looking quite aggressive himself. Multiple targets lined up, but you can only hit a single one. Turtsta getting the final kill, and it's Bleed to go back on the lead.
That's exactly what I want to see after a tactical timeout. Small change in operators, small change in approach, go back to a very methodical kind of expected playstyle. Go below on a top floor attack, toss out the grenades, try and fish for that kill, clear out the utility, and then go for the kills together in that 3-2-1. And sure, most of the action that round came down from a single player from Bleed, Hoven on the Nook, finding 3 kills, 1 with a grenade, and some damage, and 2 kills with the gun. But all you need on Consulate typically is just that initial foothold in the door. Once you get in, you're flying, you're going, things are going well for you. But getting in initially is the difficult task. The thing is though, if the nuke starts working out and it becomes predictable, again, it's up to adapting on the fly, time and time again. No nukes so far. Leader going through the attacker repick right now, and Maverick being brought up by Turtsta is extremely surprising on this lobby bomb site because, sorry, basement bomb site should I say. Again, the outline's deceiving me now this time. Because it's not like the basement breach has been an issue so far. No Kaid, no Bandit, just the mute. You don't necessarily need a Maverick anywhere, unless of course you want to go for that backside take that could be the angle instead. Send Mentos and Ace on the front side, open up the main breach, send Turtsta and Maverick on the backside from like the Visa, Archives area. Go for a split take on basement. This is kind of like when Consulate first got reworked, this is how most people kind of envisioned this bomb set to play out. You get the main breach open up with a Thermite on Ace or Ivana. You have one guy just left outside of there holding this open angle, who's like make the bomb site feel small. Then you send 4 people to like first floor or the back side of Archives, and you have a front-to-back attack all of a sudden. The issue is what we see right here. The rotations, the soft destruction of the ceilings, the first floor is very difficult to roam clear. So we often see stuff like what Turtsta is doing right now. Just go straight for basement and look for that kill and look at that. You Maverick a circle, you're walking in, you hold an angle, and Chibisu, yes, he went for the pre-fire, but it's him who ends up in the grave. And that right there pays off massively for Bleed. They get the kill, they get a bit of map control, and they're forcing movement now from CG to rotate around the map and change their positions around.
Good thing for Chibisu is that gadgetry will persist even if the Fenrir themselves are dead.
It's true.
Got a lot of persistent gadgetry actually. Mute, the one that you don't have access to is Smoke. As Legion and Hero both also have their gadgets persist. 2 Reaps, what a shot from above. Punishing Black Gray. His goo mines will still be felt. Anaton guarding the Mute Jammer on yellow stairs. With that shotgun will usually be good enough for 1 kill, but you gotta find somebody to wander in that direction first as you attack this garage. Right now it looks like Bleed's focus isn't even on that part of the map. That could be especially troubling, but Hoven decides, you know what, I'm gonna go over there. And finds death at the hands of the shotgun. Reaps another kill from a similar spot. Doing so much work himself to open up the floor and then gunning you down with that C8. SAS shotguns here. Suzu drags over to kill out Turtsta. Cyclops still trailing numbers though. 1 minute to go for Bleed to corral their players and get them over towards the bomb site.
I appreciate what Turtsta's doing to flank there, but wait for your teams to get ready for this execute first because they got vertical control, hatch open up, breach open up, and now they lost that backside pressure. The players on the attack are very much spread out. Mentos in the breach smoked off, but they're going to go for it. Down the hatch they go.
Mentalist just living through that gas. Suzu will need to go in to try and stop it as Mentalist attempting the plant. Reap's doing a lot of damage, but it's Asfi to get the last 2. And Bleed move to 1 round away from phase 2.
And all it took was a tactical timeout. Their coach with some input said, guys, this is the problem. Fix this and don't worry about the rest. And they've looked so much better since round number 8 after they lost in that round. And now Cyclops, they are down bad. They're facing match point and they will call a very late tactical timeout of their own. They got to win 2 in a row just to take us to overtime and then win the following 2 of 3 rounds to take this map and take the series. CID, we've said it many times, I'll say it one more time. They usually make every single event since 2021 SI, every major, every SI itself. but they usually exit in the first or second phase, so to speak, so top 20 to top 16 area. Sometimes they make it a little bit further, but usually they don't, and this would be that same kind of story for them. Whereas for Bleed, first international showcasing from them, they've had a great time domestically. They've gotten first place in Stage 1, although didn't do so good in LCQ. Then they got first spot in Stage 2, and actually made it all the way here through LCQ this time. Of course, beat CAG in the very first game, the very first day yesterday on Consulate. Now they find themselves here. They did lose against Lowe's earlier today on Nighthaven Labs. It was not the prettiest showcasing from Bleed, but they've seemingly fixed things in the interim. That small downtime between maps, or games should I say, about an hour and a half to 2 hours. A lot can happen. A team talk, a pep talk, some motivational speeches, and of course some strats being discussed, the change in maps that you play. And that's 7-0 on Kafe just a few, 30 or so minutes ago. That's really what got them into this position in the first place. Now just one round could be the difference maker between them going into this phase 2 of the major. Basement bomb side again, attempted from CAG. Last time was that opening pick and turds from the backside that started things off hot for them. But Reeps, 2 kills in the mid round on Buck. That vertical destruction is what sealed the deal.
Well, Cyclops finds themselves on the razor's edge. One thing cannot be argued: if this is the end of the road for the Japanese squad, they went out a lot better than they started.
That's true.
7-3 scoreline is not exactly the debut that CAG wanted. They've lost Black Ray now. That's where things get really troubling. Black Ray as a player has been able to take over games so far in the play-ins, but won't have much influence for the remaining 2:30 of this round.
Pretty much snowball as well. I mean, if this happens and I'm on the roster, like, guys, you feel that pressure, like it's slipping away, right? You lose that first member. So now I could imagine Cyclops. There's 2 things that can happen. Either they play far back or they play far forward, but a C4 gets the job done. And that's Buck, the most vital player on this attack in bomb side to deal with. Vertical destruction mostly gone now. It's only Asp that secondary shotgun on Gridlock with the only soft destruction, because Turd on IQ, he actually has a Claymore instead of soft breaching charges.
2 Claymores, actually, as Mentalist, or well, 2 sets, rather, as Mentalist had some available as well. With the Gridlock, I mean, there's lots of anti-flank potential there, some more destructive than others. Good use of a Nitro Cell, though. Suzu picking up another kill early on. Half the round on in. Soft destruction needing to be done through those DMRs, which were buffed a while back, that allow you to open up the hatches and do more with them, which is a nice change.
Yeah, in this round in particular. And again, Gridlock secondary shotgun, so much value being had. You said it earlier.
I feel so good.
Yeah, you feel validated. You're right. Because
I feel absolutely validated. There's no denying that.
Sledge Bach? No. Bach and Gridlock. That's the duo these days. And you see right here, it's not pretty and it's not quick, but it gets the job done.
Suzu doesn't have access to a Nitro Cells. It was used early on, but there's still one in the pocket of Arcully. Where it will get employed, I imagine you're going to save it for the post plant, because if you look, Cyclops is absent an operator to deal with the post plant. There's no Maestro, there's no Tachanka, there's no Smoke as your main culprits. So now instead, you're going to rely on Arcully to do that. He needs to live up to that point. Down goes Mentalist. Suzu firing back. Turnstone to walk on up. Hoven falls as well. Turnstone with 1 kill. He's the last one left. Huge round from Suzu. To keep themselves alive, they just need to stop Turd Stuff from getting out of this position. Over by Yellow. He hears footsteps above. Has to be worried about the same floor. And Suzu with a 4K. CAG still in this match.
Yeah, so one team of Bleed, 1 round away from going to phase 2, and CAG 1 round away from getting themselves into overtime. Some of the most important rounds right now this tournament for both these 2 teams. Well, the most important rounds, should I say. Now the difficult choice comes to CAG. What bomb site do you go to? They lost the previous on basement, then they won it. So everything is open but basement bomb site. They can go piano, they can go Telos Archives, they can go top floor as well. But they've only found success downstairs, really. So it's a tough decision to make. They go for lobby. Of course, they can spread themselves out quite thin here. Start top floor, fall back to first floor. They can play a C4 in basement. They play that same similar lineup. Yellow of Chibisu is stable for lobby. And it just gives them, again, more intel on where the entries from the attackers might be coming from. Those Griswold mines might not get you kills, but they do give you a ton of intel if any attackers trigger them. And when Hoven's going back onto Nuke as he currently is, that could be the difference maker. Because if Hoven finds a gap somewhere and thinks it's clear, walks in, bam, Griswold mine, all of a sudden he can't see, he can't hear. He might just get found by one of the defending players. Third stat is going to go into Brava in the last few seconds of attack a repick. And if you can find some utility here, Griswold mines from the Fenrir, the Griswold mines from the Ella, you can maybe ground Hoven away into the bomb site here. That could also be a way for them. Anaton, bit of a silent killing here. 15 kills to his name. Didn't quite realize that till now. Of course, Hoven for Blade staying on 12.
Need to reload.
There's the two top gunners for both of these two teams respectively.
I expect overtime in this third map.
You're gonna go all the way, yeah?
We're going all the way, Deds.
They did go all the way earlier in their game.
They did.
Not gonna spoil what happened, but it was a banger.
Both the Bliss and SSG match and the G2 DZ match that we were treated to earlier were both spectacles, and this one has been quite lopsided in the maps that were won. Obviously, Border was won 7-4 by CAG, then a 7-0 on Kafe. Now we're looking at what could be a 7-5 or into OT we go. A heartbreak for CAG would be if they win this round and then ultimately choke it in overtime.
All that effort and work just to lose in overtime anyway. Susu and Reaps, they're about to fight it out. Who gets the opening kill? Again, this could be the final round, or at least what takes it into overtime.
Reaps will lose his vision, but for a moment, hopefully not his head. Suzu's bullets and impact will do some serious damage. Hoven not too far off as well. Really battling that Dread Mine. Blackling eliminating Mentalist. As Bleed's entry is falling apart. Asfi down by a grenade. His own grenade. Reaps is there to do some serious damage. Right now by Long Desk, still in this spot. Asfi will need to be recovered. Hoven and Reaps, worse for wear, but ultimately this whole team is wearing it well at the moment.
Asfi, I mean, he's crawling for help.
Crawling as best as he can. Flash grenade to go! Nitro Cell connects! Could have taken out Reaps as well. Anaton and R. Kelly on the board for those kills. It's Hoven to get one onto Black Ray. Numbers still close enough. This is very easily a Bleed and Cyclops round. Neither of these teams with a distinct advantage at the moment, but I am a little worried about the HP on the left side of Bleed.
Yeah, I feel that as well. Reeves, I mean, he's usually the playmaker, but it's got to be Hoven in this round. He's got the nuke, got that surprise factor, but he's still got the Fenrir gadget, the Griswold mines as well. So all of a sudden, you might think it's clear, but it's not. But he's in. Gotta go for the plant.
You better hope for Hoven to be able to cover this now as you've lost some of your vision. Hoven from above to just deny the time. Reaps gets away with it. He'll have to clutch out. 2 more kills to be found. In this position now, he'll relocate over towards the closet. Reaps sees the tracers. You've got to fight from both angles. This is a really bad spot for Reaps, but he'll hop out. A possible rotate over towards the window, vaulting on in. Anaton's going to stick it. You have to hurry, Reaps. No, he doesn't get there. Cyclops stays alive, and overtime is on the board.
Oh, man. Reaps was in such a tough position inside the closet, had no way out. And I mean, the second he jumps out the window, you think, okay, he's going to make for a big rotate all the way. No, it's not going to happen. The cover is there for CAG. A beautiful top floor retake. They read the situation perfectly, and they get themselves into overtime. Now, it's a best of 3, but in terms of rounds. Which side these two teams start on, they will play 2 of the 3 rounds if they go the distance. It's going to be Bleed starting on attack and Cyclops on defense. And looking at how this goes for both teams, they've both won 4 defensive rounds and 3 attacking rounds. So a pretty even situation here, but it has been defense coming out slightly ahead. And it's now 17 kills. An incredible performance right now, keeping his team alive in this. They're going to go back downstairs to the base and bomb side, where they've had the most defensive success so far. Mirror being brought out Kite this time, trying to do some electro shuffle in the main wall, and if you can't deny that main breach of Mentalist, that is going to make the entries a lot more difficult, because that's always been the way in for Bleed. They get the main breach open very early on, and then in the late round they will throw out the smokes, walk on in, and try and get down that diffuser. So Susu, if he can trick the wall successfully, could make Mentalist and Bleed's life a lot more difficult in the late stage of the round.
Well, I'm glad that you and I finally get a nice overtime at the best of 3 to go off of. Bleed will waste no time, though, going back to the same position they were on. That's never really a bad thing, but Asfi dying early is very definitely a bad thing. And Aniton uses the Nitro Cell before losing his head to Reaps. That's 18 kills for Aniton, by the way.
Yeah.
In what is inarguably the main reason for CAG's success.
Yeah, I mean, if you don't go 18 kills in Aniton and nobody else steps up, this is not a 6-6 game. And that's the thing, I mean, individual plays can get you very far, but ultimately, you need the team to work together. So Aniton, he trades 1 for 1, again, taking down the Gridlock, a pretty valuable operator. But his teammates now on the 4v4, they gotta be the better team, if you will. The kills also very close to both sides. No one besides Hove and Aniton are like leading up with a ton of kills here. Half the round to go still, and Chibisu and the rest of Cyclops are still rotating around saying, okay, first 4, don't gotta worry about it so much. C4 goes out, doesn't find anything, and of course this time Reaps and Buck still alive, destroy the floor, Kaito gets destroyed, they can get that breach opened up.
Again, a very even scoreline for this Bleed squad, as they've got 3 players over double digits. Nobody really running away with it, though Hoven has been the standout when it comes to kills, and also has been playing very utility-heavy operators. Was great on Nook in the previous round. Now, you got DMR to cut through the floor. You got a Ram, mostly, to do that work, though. It's all the boogies from turrets to have been used. That floor, completely gone. That means that the ceiling is gone as well, putting Cyclops in a bit of an uncomfortable position. Now Hoven will go for this split push yet again. Flash out. Buy himself some time as he just runs on through. This is a smart play. Turns to down. CAG winning these duels. The numbers keep going so well for them. Now it's Chibisu to eliminate Hoven. Only 2 remain for Bleed. A standoff where they're outnumbered 2-1 by Cyclops.
Yeah, this team playing far back. I mean, you gotta walk through the store, but then you met with a crossfire. He sees the mirror, gets it, 2v3. Maybe he could go for a plant. Who knows? If Reaps is not there for cover, he's gonna go for the backside instead.
Creeping on down. Chibisu with the pre-fire. How does Reaps win that one? Could be another player not too far away. Reaps will try for the flash with very little time to go. Here's the issue. If Mentalist is going to go for the plant, Reaps absolutely has to cover, because if not, it's doomed for Bleed, but Reaps gets a 4K to move Bleed to match point.
We said Aniton was keeping CAG in this game, but Reaps has really stepped up, and Hoven said in in-game chat right now, he's the GOAT. Out of nowhere. And the thing is, the thing that Cyclops is doing so well, they're always playing around the Fenrir gadgetry. Every single time someone's going for a flank, for a backstab, for an entry, they're always nearsighted by the Fenrir mine, so they can't see very far. And somehow, despite all that, Reap still finds 3 kills in the late stages of that round to end the opening kill trade onto Aniton. The Bach play really paying off on all sides. And now, how overtime works, you swap side every single round. Bleed attacked the previous one, now they'll go on defense. Back-to-back basements, bomb sites. And if you're in overtime, you know, you played a lot of rounds on both sides now, bringing out something new, something spicy, can be that surprising factor that you need. We saw Cyclops go for some fast takes on border, as did Bleed themselves. On Kafe, it was mostly pretty standard stuff from both sides. We have not seen much of that craziness, that chaos happening on Consulate. So seeing the glass now, will he commit to it? Yep, 2 seconds left. Aniton will lock in the glass. Black Ray changes the Dokupi. They have 2 sets of smokes, as Susu on the Thermite will bring a second set as well. So Aniton, on 18 kills, is going to get the opera that everybody's going to play around. They're going to breach the wall for Aniton. They're going to smoke for Aniton. They're going to support Aniton. And if he can hit his shots and find those openings, he can win this round for his team and take it to 7-7. First, you got to open up that wall. Nothing really stands in their way, except that it's already kind of been opened up, and Mirren was put there and then popped by the defensive side. They can actually impact trick through that, but they don't have any impacts. But they have 3 C4s, so good toss out of C4 if they wanted to.
It's something you don't see every day on this map.
No, you don't.
Reminds me a lot of when Na'Vi used to do that on the triple panel. They'd leave one of those soft, and then they'd actively fight you, but
Yeah, and I mean, as I said, like you could impact Trick through the mirror window, but they don't have any. But Reeves has not stopped the killing yet. He gets another one, 14 to his name now. So lethal on the roam, a Black Ray stripes back. That smoke removed from action. A very vital plant and operator from the side of Bleed.
Well, so far, both of these teams immediately hopping onto Garage as your very first bomb site. It's anybody's game at the moment. So there go the smokes, and Anaton will try to leverage that concealment for a pick, losing onto the Nitro cell, and it's a bit of a mistake. As down goes Suzu, Black Ray is gone now as well. Bleed looking to close this out, 2 more to be found to send Cyclops back home. Anaton has been so phenomenal, but you can't always do it yourself. At this point, it's just up to him and Chibisu. That's it, Mentalist will call from the sidelines. Plenty of time to go, but you're now going to rely on Bleed committing mistakes. You're going to rely on them over peeking. So you don't have a ton of time. You only have 3 drones remaining, only one of which is actually usable, and that's Chibisu's. So you're going to be doing this largely without intel. You don't have any smokes left. You got 1 grenade, you got Adrenal Surges, that's it.
You got Mentalist, your captain, your IGL, the oldest, most experienced player on the roster who's in the grave. He's saying, guys, sit back. I'm holding cameras. I'll give you information, when to swing, what to do. Just don't move a mouse or don't overexpose yourself. And you see them. They're waiting. They've let go of their keyboard. No one is moving an inch because they recognize they don't have to.
Great patience from Bleed. GBC will need to get into position from above. That's exactly what he's doing as he finds one of those 2 mines and now is trying to pop a mirror window to make things a little bit easier for Anaton. Oh my. Game on the line for Cyclops. I can only imagine the pressure that's on their shoulders right now. Bleed 2 kills away from this. 1 kill remaining. Reaps with all 4. Hoven saying the GG in chat, and it's Turnsta to steal the ace, but it doesn't matter. Bleed move to phase 2. We wave goodbye to CAG.
Yeah, it's an early exit for them, but I gotta say, for Bleed, Reeps got back-to-back 4Ks in overtime, so we can say Anaton did all this and all that, but it was Reeps in the end who said, you know what, I can carry my team harder individually on the roam and on the entry. You can see how happy they are. They made it to phase 2.
I mean, it was a scare, though. CAG really did put up a fight. But you only get so close, and that's the problem. Impressive play from various players, but CAG still have a lot to learn.
And we gotta talk about that 7-0 on Kafe, right? Because as a sloppy first map from Bleed, you think, okay, they're not in it. Then they go on Kafe, a 7-0 landslide, taking them to Consulate. That's the real story here. Mentally, they were not out of it despite losing that first map, despite not having international experience.
I mean, CAG has been around the block for so long, and it still doesn't really matter because they're actually regressing as a team. If you think about the stats and the way that they performed, they just haven't quite been themselves, and it's quite distressing, really.
Yeah. And while they do have an early exit, I do want to say, like, the way they played Siege now is more confidence-inspiring for me as a viewer than what they did before. It looked like it was more put together, more cohesive, more methodical, but it still doesn't get them the result that they need nor want.
Yeah. Group B is done, by the way, in case you want to see the bracket. Here it is for you.
We got Los winning in the upper bracket, beating Bleed earlier today, which then took us to this series where Bleed will square up against Cyclops that we just witnessed, taking Bleed on the lower bracket run.
Cyclops almost survived. They beat Talon, and then they were up against Bleed, and they just ultimately had their hands full. Bleed and Los will play in just a couple days when we come back with phase number 2. We still got other groups to go, though, by the way. I know on the broadcast that's going on directly behind us, Ninjas in Pajamas and Crest are currently in a 3rd map as well. So you know that it's going to be an exciting game, and you know it's been an exciting game. And I imagine that when we are done here, we'll probably throw to them.
We should.
Before we come back with what's next here. We have one more best of 3 on this channel to determine who ultimately goes on to phase 2 and who goes home. That's it for you and I today. We're all done.
We are. We're finished.
We're finished. We'll see you again in phase 2, but there's still more matches to play. Sit tight. We'll be right back. Never mind.
Never mind. We got stats first, actually.
Stats. I was wrong.
So I gotta say here, Ferme, he's been killing with his graphics. He wants his stats to be shown. I respect that. You see a Reap 17 kills, with Anderson 18.
We pay a lot of money for these stats.
Yeah, you know what? We should use them. We should talk about them, right?
We could have just left the stats up and not said anything.
Oh, we can just let it speak for
But
itself?
we should probably talk about them. shouldn't
Okay,
we?
okay.
What do you think?
So let's talk about it for a little bit. Just for a minute or two.
Which one do you want to talk about, left or right?
I want to do right.
Okay, talk about
I'll
Cyclops.
start. Okay. So Cyclops, right? The one thing to note, the EPS, the player score, so to speak, effective player score, 153 up top, all the way down to 74. It's a big gap from top to bottom, and the middle line, again, close to the bottom and the top. When you go left-hand side for Bleed, it's much more team performance across the board. Nobody's below 90 EPS. That means every single player is putting up numbers, putting in effort, and getting stuff done. And when it comes down to it, yeah, an Incident Reach can carry individual rounds, but you need everybody to work together to be the better team.
Absolutely. It's not just a one-man show. You can have the best player in the entire lobby on your team, and still, you're going to be on the flight home. Schedule for you. I gotta get used to this. I gotta get used to this. Wolves and Bliss, the rematch.
Oh boy.
One of these teams moves on to phase 2. The other goes home. Do we send Wolves back to Europe, or does Bliss go back to Australia? That's it. That's the last match of the day here on this channel. Sit tight. Now we're actually gonna go. We'll be back with Wolves and Bliss.